Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. Support and defend.
Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Let the games begin. Come walk in my shoes. I done paid all my dues. I got something to prove. All in, nothing to lose. Right now a new day starts. Woke up my brave heart. Stand up and play my part. Like the crowd wave starts. Been patient long enough. Not waiting, I'm bossing up. Life is like a toss up. I tempted triple, crossed it up. We born to be giant slayers. We shine too bright to shade us or face us. We love the pressure. It's what made us. Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Let the games begin. I was born for this. From day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit. Ain't no stopping it. I was born for this. From day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit. Ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it. Time to rise up. Time to rise up. Time to rise up. Time to rise up. So let's go crazy, crazy like Prince in the 1980s. Don't play me, I'm not Brady. Too blown, you can't deflate me. Yes, ballin' is my calling. Can't box me out, I'm all in. We built from yes, all in. Top of the charts and never falling. It's time, beast mode. Put it on the line, free throws. It's Friday, I'm Debo. Take it back like repo. Got on my headphones, eyes closed in my zone. I've been down this road every time I drove it home. The set back up again like it's 1st and 10. Only aim to win, let the games begin. I was born for this, from day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit, ain't no stopping it. I was born for this, from day one I wanted it.
All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour. I'm Michael, your host. We got a good show lined up for you today. We got Scott, we got Zach. Doctor is in the office or the studio. So this is going to be a great show. Let's go ahead and introduce Scott. People know you.
Caught me off guard today. You're going to go to Zach here. So I'll let Zach give a 30-second commercial real quick of who he is. If he wants to, I'm not going to share information that I'm not sure he wants shared. So,
It's,
guys, Dr. Zach.
It's a chiropractor. I'm a physician. I can't say who's my patient and who's not due to HIPAA, but I'm here to represent medical documentation, not fiction, not fugazi, no nothing fake. This is real. This is documented. I brought my sources. That's how I operate. So we're going to talk about some real life things. We're going to talk about, I've been looking at internet. I've been looking at government. I've been looking at all the wrong things. And they all keep saying the same thing. And I keep seeing these memes and these posts and somebody talk about health. What's health look like? Well, guess what? Today, you guys came to church.
I like that.
Father Dr. Zach is in the building, and we're going to talk about it.
All right, we appreciate that. We're gonna get into all the great things with all you Patriots. I want to take a minute to say thank you all for being here. It looks like we got about 450. I always like to wait because the alerts and stuff go out at different times. YouTube's algorithms we've been playing with since day one. And again, that's no conspiracy. The owner of YouTube went on 60 Minutes and talked about changing the algorithms. Have we had the white hats in and fixed a few things? I think Google's about 30% fixed. The Google search algorithms on Google itself. But we know the conglomerates under Google, which is YouTube, that is not fixed. But anyway, Patriot Fest. Scott, you said a few were coming in.
Yeah, I was just
on the live chat.
As we were jumping on there, I was watching. I got one from Arizona, one from I thought I seen Maine and then one from Pennsylvania. Yeah, Minnesota. Minnesota was another one. So just a reminder, next we're T-minus 7 days. Thursday night we'll be prepping. Looking forward to meeting all of the Patriots that are coming from around the country. This ought to be real interesting to see how many and who shows up, and just meet and greet and
Heck yeah.
bring your motorcycle. I'll be running that, I guess, or leading it, or however that is. But what did we say? 11 o'clock kickstands up, or
Is
1
it
o'clock?
1? I think it's 1.
o'clock. It
1
is
p.m. kickstands up. It's
Saturday.
because they're not stopping anywhere this year.
Correct.
In the past, they have.
Well, there's nowhere to stop. I guess there couldn't.
That's
but
no lie. Man, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna stop?
They're nowhere to stop. Can't hear you.
We should just make our own stops. Get like 5 Patriots, go out there with
in the
SUVs full
process,
of coolers
man.
with beer, and then just
It's in the process, man. There's a lot more Patriots than us. There's 3 in here right now. There's a lot more outside of here.
destinations and parking lots, or something like that around.
I'll be there, Ben. We got Ben in the room. What's going on with? We got 5 of 5. Is everyone being heard before we get really deeply into it? We're 500 in the room. I'm hearing one person said can't hear you, but turn your phone up.
Yeah. I'm not gonna yell into this thing.
That'll help. My mic's right here, screen in gold like me, so that's all I'm worried about.
Hashtag children's lives matter. Yes, it does, Martin.
That's right, man. Maybe we start off with that. I don't know. Maybe we start off with that.
It can go anywhere.
All right, let me see here.
Crazy.
JT
Crazy.
Wild.
Crazy.
JT's in the house. We'll be seeing JT live this
Yes.
weekend, coming next weekend. at
All
the
right,
Patriot Fest.
we're 5 of 5, loud and clear. Everyone, thank you so much. We got Fluid Pour Patriot. We got some of the mods. We got JT Wild in the room, maybe.
Fluid pour. Yeah, there's fluid pour.
Did you say JT Wild is in the room?
I just seen
oh,
it.
Okay, I thought you meant JT, somebody else we know. All right, what's up, brother? Brothers and sisters, Patriots alike, welcome. Make sure you're subscribed. Patriot Fest, August 14th, 15th.
7 days from now, T-minus 7.
It's going to be a great time. Again, the links are all down below. Sounds much better, everyone's saying.
Good.
We appreciate it.
Let's jump in.
Go ahead. Let's. So, your interesting points. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's just start right with the mask. What is your medical, best, we know that when doctors have to wear them in an emergency kind of setting, that they put them on, they put everything on in that room because it's a sterile room. You're washing your hands, you're putting on. And is that really to keep out, what does a mask really do in an environment like that?
So there's studies. Like, I'm going to bring a lot of facts. I'm going to bring some science. There's a lot of emotions right now.
Yes.
We
Try to keep that out of there.
Off the table. Right now, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of emotions. I'm bringing some facts. So if you're cutting someone's body open, wear a mask. How many of these listeners are cutting people's bodies open? Okay. Regardless of that fact, I've got sources here. So there's 14 randomized control trials. There's different types of study groups that you do. So in May of 2020, there's 14 randomized control trials, which means it was more than one clinic or case or hospital. There was 14 of them. And the study showed that masks are ineffective. In 2009, Japan, 32 healthcare hospital workers for 77 days. The control group wore a mask. The other group didn't. They showed that there was no difference, there was no alter in the response or the results. And of the people that wore masks, they got headaches. CDC, Father Fauci. I'm going to leave it at Father Fauci. We're going to get into that later. This guy said in March, masks don't work. In the middle of a pandemic, maybe you wear one, maybe it makes people feel better, but from a scientific standpoint, masks do not work. Fauci said that in March. So, I'm thinking to myself, all right, we got a pandemic. I'm going to be real honest with you guys, man, all the listeners and everybody listening. When this first came out, it was scary.
Yeah.
We didn't know it. It was new. We're going to establish later how it's not new, based on science, not on opinion, but fact. I brought my sources. At the beginning, this was scary, right? So, my wife is due. In 2 weeks, I'm about to have a daughter.
Oh, wow.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to Layla, who's coming.
You won't be able to be in the room, man.
That's right.
No, you
I'm
can't
gonna have
be.
a more important business, higher things to do. I would not be putting myself out on a limb to die from something if I have a daughter that's coming into this planet and she's gonna lose her dad.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to think I'm a good doctor. I took the oath. I did a lot of things, but there's 0% chance that my daughter's gonna grow up without a dad,
Right.
based on this virus,
Yeah.
right? So the first week I was nervous. I was nervous about it. Second week I'm like, based on the science, medical doctors, take this Hippocratic oath. They start coming forward. This is weird. We're inflaming our numbers. We're getting paid more to diagnose COVID versus something else, and I'm like, something's off here, right? And again, I would not risk my life. I love my patients. I respect my patients. I have a responsibility.
You just want to do
my
the
patients.
best for them, right?
I would not put my patients over my child or my family ever, never. So, say what you will about me as a chiropractor, as a physician, but I would never do that. And then things started to play out. Numbers start to come out. Science starts to come out. Guys, the flu had a higher mortality rate than this thing. That was in fall of last year.
Yeah.
Let me start off this way. I'm just going to preface this from the beginning. Let's say it's September of 2019. And I say, guys, listen, flu's coming. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut down the country. Business owners are going to lose their jobs. People are going to lose money. You won't be allowed to go to your place of worship. We're going to shut down the country. And if you disagree with me, then you're anti-American and all this other bullshit. Right?
That's
Okay? I would say from September to April, shut down the country. You would say, hey, dum-dum.
yeah, no way.
No way, ever, never. And it happened. And it happened in segments. It happened in 2 weeks, flatten the curve. Right?
Yeah.
Governor Halcomb tried to just swing his governor wand that he doesn't have and say things like, oh, it's a Class B misdemeanor now, as of last Monday.
If you're caught out in public without
If you
a
go out
mask.
in public without a mask on,
Yeah.
6 months in jail, $1,000 fine.
Well, then
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci should be written a ticket and paying $10,000.
Which you
he was
can't-
just caught on camera without one
Let's
at a
talk about
baseball
it.
On
Let's
game.
talk-
Halcomb,
I'm here to talk.
on
Let's talk
Halcomb,
about it.
well, you can't do that without legislation. Like, you can, to attach a fine to something, you have to go through the proper legislation. So that's when our Attorney General of Indiana came
The
out.
cool thing is the Constitution.
Yeah, the little thing
It's
called the
here in
Constitution
spite-
got in the way, you know?
In spite of the flu, the Constitution's still here. Am I right or am I wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're right. It's exactly right. I mean, any law made by federal government, state, is supposed to go along with our Constitution, not go in direct violation of. So that's what we see when we see the, Second Amendment gun grabs or the talk.
Gun grabs.
Yeah.
A lot of things are being said and done right now, man. It's all in the state of fear.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
absolutely.
So I'm
Emotion.
gonna be real with you guys, man. This is my first podcast, and first I should start off with this. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
You know what I
thank
mean?
you for being here.
Veterans, man. You were a man unlike me. You chose to put country above you. I never did that. I chose to be a doctor. It's different. But I want you to understand, thank you for having me. And there's an amount of respect that, what happened to 3 months ago with our frontline doctors and police officers and firemen and what happened to that 3 months ago? We're Stay home, save lives with the Facebook profile picture.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that, man? You're staying home and saving lives? Nah.
Right.
No. There's people out going out when the things are scary and things aren't right and things aren't natural. There's doctors, there's police, there's firemen, there's people are going out. Not to shine light on me, and all this thing going on. Like I said, I would not risk myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
I took 5 days off from January till now. I took 5 days off for a prearranged spring break that we couldn't go to the Smoky Mountains.
Couldn't even go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely right in the beginning when it was scary because we didn't
Scary,
know
like
what it was,
why
you know.
risk it?
Yeah, I sent my wife out to her parents for 2 weeks, and I had to keep working. I'm essential heating, cooling guy, but we had a baby, a newborn. So in the beginning, I mean, it was like, oh my God. But you know, we've traveled together. I've traveled down to Texas. We've been to Florida now. I've been all over the place. And I'm not seeing it in my face other than on the news, but I don't know. I still don't know anybody personally, blah, 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 going on. Just going back to that, in the beginning, you had to be scared. You should have been scared.
You
but,
gotta be. For your family, you gotta be.
Enough time has gone on. It's
2
like,
weeks. It took me 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
2 weeks, and I called bullshit on the whole thing.
Yeah. If I was going to get sick, I would have thought I was going to get sick. And by no means am I seeing them running around, again, licking doorknobs and being stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
let's
I
talk
don't
about it.
know when you sit down at night and you really break down your day today versus what it was a year ago today. Maybe you washed your hands a few more times today, but you still got up and went to work. You still did the same. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, yes, you had to absolutely freak out, but I am way, way over it by now.
You said masks, man. You brought up like this whole thing that's going on. A year ago, I was in Aruba on my honeymoon with my family, with my wife, with my son, trying to make my daughter. I didn't make it that weekend, but that's neither here nor there.
Got one past the goalie later, though.
That's right, man. I'm a sharpshooter. But anyways,
Nice.
but it's just crazy that the flu comes around year after year. And what's crazy is let's march into. All right, so my son goes he goes to a Catholic school. in town.
Keep pronouns down.
Yeah, I got that. It's my first podcast. Forgive me.
Oh, I got COVID.
You're good. You're doing real good.
My son goes to a private school. And private schools are the only schools right now where kids are allowed to go into the building.
Oh, wow.
You guys understand that?
Wow.
Why is that? Because they don't take they don't take state and federal funding.
Here's the kicker. I'll tell you this. Penn Harris Madison.
Go backward.
Granger,
A local school.
Granger schools. Kids aren't going in, but sports are left alone.
Like 100%.
100%. No mask, no sanitizer, no, you know. So
Wow.
I'm thinking in my head, you know, from the beginning, the first week I heard about COVID, they started talking about the election and mail-in ballots. And I'm like, dude, this is March. Like, why are we talking about
They're
the election
prepping
in
it.
November?
It's a
right?
subliminal message.
It was 2 weeks. It was
Yeah.
2 weeks in. We're talking about the election in November. And now, school, oh yeah, no kids till election day, but sports are good.
Right.
The virus knows the difference between,
An athlete and a...
let's
yeah.
get real political. Kids can go to school. We can't vote for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The virus knows the difference.
You
And
can.
you say it's not political. It's just like, you know,
Well, we saw states like Michigan once the rioting started happening, and then people were literally like, "Well, we can't riot because there's ordinances." And then the mayor was like, "Oh, we're going to drop that," or the governor, that Whitmer.
Yeah.
She really quickly was like, "We need to get stuff in to back this off so people can riot appropriately," and not, you know. And then once that was over, it's back to, looks like we're outbursting again. We need to get orders in, and she's fines and stuff like Indiana's doing. And I think it's always been about the election. When they couldn't get them out. Trump out
The
with
other three
the
ways.
impeachment.
Yeah.
I remember Don Lemon when they were waiting to vote. There was like a 6 days.
Don
Like
Lemon.
he was like, "Well,
Let me get
you never
started
know
on
what's
him.
going to happen in 6 days. I'm just saying."
And then 6 days
He goes, "I'm just saying, you better watch, watch."
club.
He was like telling you, and I'm like, "Oh my God, he's threatening us!" And then boom, a virus comes. So it seems, it's a little far fetched to go, but that's always been the mission. So you make a good point with way back when this first kicked off. It wasn't even really out of the bag yet, and it was like, oh, elections, we better vote from home. Because I'm going to tell you what, if we go that way, if we put votes in the mail, we'll never get the results. We will be played, hung over the time when we're supposed to have a new president, and then they're going to say Trump, Pence, until we get this figured out. We have to go to third in charge, which is how Nancy Pelosi.
Jesus.
And until we get the numbers, because we're never going to get the numbers.
And then all of a sudden she has a controlled Democratic
Don't we all
House.
sit by the TVs on the election night, and by midnight you got a pretty good idea of the states coming in?
Sure.
Not this time.
Wait. No, on that note.
You're right. 13% of the precincts in, they already
We
know
just
who the winner
can't give
is.
you the numbers. It wouldn't be right. There's a few mailbags missing. We're looking into it.
We got listeners from both sides of the stick. When the last election, it was one way the whole time
Yeah.
until Trump won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So-
vote. Hillary already won. That's
so,
what they're basically
so what I'm going to
telling
say
you.
is, and from a legal standpoint, I have a family member who's an attorney. We talk about legalities of things. Misleading the shareholders. Do you guys remember what's her name? Snoop Dogg. What's her name?
Oh, yeah.
Martha Stewart.
Martha
Yeah.
Stewart went to prison, felony.
For lying, though.
Snoop Dogg, my man,
misleading.
my man, Snoop Dogg, my man, was on trial for his life for murder. He never went to. He's not a felon. Martha Stewart, insider trading, served time.
Yeah.
They
For
never.
the same type of show this. This is actually what's happening. It's called insider trading.
Yeah. She pre-sold stuff 30 days before things collapsed or went really bad, and then they never ended up getting her on any of that. That's what they initially came to her for.
Right.
It's the FBI's typical thing. They got her on a process crime, which was at the end of it all lying.
Right.
She
Right.
did that short amount of time for lying.
She
How long? How many
she didn't
days
get
did
charged.
She
She misled the investigation and ended up, I think it was
Yeah.
16
serve?
months.
It's
Yeah.
just like 16 months.
Yeah.
man.
In federal
Like,
pen.
what are we talking?
Well, hell,
I mean,
you
yeah.
remember when Epstein got arrested? His 18 months jail sentence was he was able to go to work 12 hours a day, and then did you ever see that?
His
Where
cell was left open.
The investigator,
His cell was
Epstein
left open.
Yeah. I know.
But then the private eye started following, going, "This guy, listen,
He's
America."
in Pedophile Island. He's in Miami. He's meeting with Dershowitz.
But he goes back to the county jail at night during the week,
and
lays his head down, and they're like, "Yeah, that's one day."
Yeah,
sir."
that charge was from 2008 under the Obama administration, or stemming from under Bush, but it finally went 40 victims. There's 40 people underage that
willing
came.
to testify.
Are we froze up, dude?
willing to testify?
My brother just said froze
Willing to
up.
testify.
Willing to testify. 40 of
Willing
them.
to testify.
And they brushed it all. He got that 3-year, or like you
18
guys said,
months.
18 months of leaving every day. That lets you know, and this is what I've told people in my last video, if you don't get it yet, the people that are supposed to be taking down Epstein and all that are all either blackmailed or involved on certain levels. Because otherwise it would happen. We know that process can happen, but if weird things happen along the way and you're like, well, why did he, all that evidence there, and then the judge just did that for him, right there's something that took place. Like,
Fake news, Mike. Conspiracy, fake news.
I put it this way: people had said July wasn't a month. Q said a boom. I was like, man, we had rioting going on. That was predicted 2 years ago, and then also a good boom for July would have been Maxwell went down. G. Maxwell went down.
Arguably the wife of the biggest sex trafficker, and people don't understand. We're talking about masks. We're going to talk about all this stuff. Again, all of it. We're going to talk about everything. Kids are being stolen, sold, and people don't realize I saw a video the other day of, I'm not even going to say his name, the P.O Island guy. He had this 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl. She was young. It was on Facebook. This stuff is so censored. We're so numbed down and dumbed down that we just see it and we're just like, oh, that sucks. That's crazy.
Well, and that's the other thing. They try to normalize it. Like me and Scott were
So
doing a show.
normalized,
Kevin
man.
Spacey, when it came out, like Kevin
2
Spacey,
years
like,
ago we predicted it.
he's like, they're the news when it came out that Kevin Spacey touched an underage boy on a set. Then it's like, well, he's coming out of the closet that he's gay.
He's gay.
That's different to me, isn't it? Are we taking illegal immigrants, and people do this a lot, and it's like, no, we got legal immigrants here that are fine,
Right.
and we got illegal, which can be anybody that crosses the border without being properly checked and
Vested, yeah.
So vested, and they try to do this with them all the time. I'm like, no, let's keep it separate because they're separate things.
Well, in Epstein's case, they're underage prostitutes.
Yes.
That's a child.
Well, that's
child.
what
I want to talk about that right now.
they're that's what they're doing. They're using that subliminal, throw it in your face, make it
Subliminal.
normalization.
Normalization, yes.
Normalization, because if you see it enough times, as
Oh,
a
yes, underage
society,
prostitute.
animals start getting used to certain. Well, we never will get used to it, but as a whole, it's really not in my world. Pay no mind to it. Pay no attention. You wake up 20 years later, and it's so normalized, it's too damn late.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now they're
100%.
fighting for it. There's people fighting for it to be part of the LGBT.
They pick it now. They're like, we are people too.
No, you're not. You're
Like you
you're
were
an
saying.
effing animal, and
LGB, and they're trying to add it to it.
LGBTQ. TQ.
Adding a P.
Adding a P.
That's where you guys lose me. I can stay on board the whole time until that point. But
No, even that
cannot-
community
you
is
cannot-
fighting to not have the PA.
Right.
They don't want them there.
LGBTQ.
That's
Okay,
right.
they're fighting.
That's right.
The pedophilias are trying to say, hey, let us get on board with you guys. We're born this way too, because that's what
Because it
they're-
feels good. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? We're born this way too. No, so we got to go into that question. I've asked, like, do you think? And I don't know. You might have gay friends or whatnot, or people
sure
you come
I do.
across.
For sure I
Have
do.
you ever asked them, are you born this way, or do you think it came? That's a serious question to be.
All of them.
So it would be the same towards the pedophilias, and they claim that they're born this way. So, and you can be like, no, you're not, or something. And if so, here's the thing: if the way this country needs to move forward, because that was on the way to being normalized. I told Scott 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
right.
It still is.
It still is.
It's not going anywhere.
So,
You never
and the way it's got to be is if one more person tells me that pedophilia is a sexual orientation, I'll have to rock them in the mouth, drop them where they stand. And that's like the only way to move forward as a country if we all do that. Because we can't.
I'm not gonna
That's
disagree with
fighting.
that. I'm not gonna
that's
disagree with
extreme, but it's almost.
Wouldn't you think?
The extreme.
You would expect not 100%, because the pedophiles will be the ones that vote again. You would expect 99.99999 all the way out to the millionth place on the planet is against that.
100%.
But we would be wrong. And here's the Epsteins, the powerful kings and queens and governors and around the world. They're okay with it. So we would be wrong to think that it would never happen, because the faster they can make it happen,
It's happening.
this stuff right here,
It's happening.
you know what I
Yes.
mean? So you got sick, nasty people in power. You're never going to get rid of the ideal. Now that it started,
It's a fight.
It's
a fight for what you want in
correct.
life. That's it.
Correct.
So look, just like
So there's no close guilty. You're all the way 100% guilty, man. Right?
with us being, I know you support the Constitution, you do as well, because we were having a little garage talk before.
Absolutely.
I evidently support it.
Everyone should.
So therefore, we support free speech and the right. So we'll always have to deal with possibly the Satanists. I just don't want them in charge.
Right.
We have to fight to be in charge, and we'll have to deal with them. Evil will always come back. I mean, we know that. So it's a matter of fighting and being on top, staying in control, and if it seems like we've had a lack of that, and we've had things creep in. Earlier with the question of, do you know any gay people? That whole point was not to put them, because somebody else, when we did that 10 years ago, "Hey, they're not," we weren't trying to put pedophilias and gay people in the
Oh,
same
absolutely
thing.
not. No
Just
way.
the set of that they say they're born that way, and do you believe them? Because there's a fraction of people that
Right.
say, yeah, I do believe my friend that's gay that says he was born that way.
You were
The
curious
rest
if
is-
they were setting a precedence, because
Yeah.
if they get to say I was born that way, the precedence, Pandora's box in court, once you open it up.
Yes.
Well, we just made law that said everybody's born the way they are. So you got to be real careful about allowing anybody to say pedophilia is born. I will leave it as
In
it's
Florida-
sick and it's nasty, and it doesn't need to be researched.
No.
It's effing wrong.
In Florida, they got a whole. They did something in Florida. They made a whole trailer park, and it's full of pedophiles, and they have to live together. I was watching a documentary on 60 Minutes where they went through there.
What's
and
the
they,
address?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I got shooters that was
I think it's
jail
called
for
Whispering Pines. No, it's
We think
joking.
Next week we'll come back with a different address. No, we were way off.
That's awful.
no, but it said it works as far as none of them, because there's nothing but pedophiles in there. Well, they don't bring any outsiders in. Like, oh, they brought the. It's like literally there's no more
I hear
issues.
I hear they despise themselves.
Yeah, well, there's no more issues because they're forced. It's almost like it's a community of them, and there's like zero more crime committed.
I seen on
is all I'm saying.
On satellite.
I don't know if they're leaving there and doing something.
There's a series about people that are in prison and stuff, and one of the segments was like an eight segment show or series of pedophilers. Some of them didn't even like themselves, and elected to get castrated physically and or chemically, and then other ones that, as they went around interviewing, pedophiler 1 was not okay with the way that you pedophiled, and then pedophiler 2 was like, I'm not like that guy.
Don't put me in the category with him.
He ties his victims up. When I rape little kids, I don't tie them up. I let them be free. They hated each other, so I couldn't.
I let them hold on to their teddy bear. Oh, you're a real nice guy.
What does it matter if I hear that you're a pedophile and you're convicted, absolute 100%, you admit that you are, then it's my personal opinion that there's no longer a place on this planet for you, because all you can really do is evil.
Yes.
There's not a chance in hell you're going to do any good.
Amen. Hear, hear.
So we can never allow that little tiny root or that little twig to turn into a big oak branch.
They're just born this way,
Bullshit.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
And maybe you are, but I don't care. That's not a topic.
I don't. That doesn't justify.
Isn't it a yes or no?
Touching.
Are you or are you not a pedophile? Yes. Well, then all other information or facts.
Kids are our most precious thing on this earth, and at young ages they need to not be, have some old.
Look into the camera. You ever seen a destroyed person?
Yes.
You can't fix that. You know.
That's another topic, real quick. Last few days, I've done minimal videos. I've been suffering some. Well, Zach helped me out. He did a pre-line adjustment. Thank you. But I'll tell you what. I've done 3 years worth of videos. Been 20 years worth of research, and my research is always on the investigative side, looking in. I've never took the time to watch, victim testimony. Or, I've come across it. I've read things, but it's different when you're making a video and you're reading it.
Right.
Other than hearing them say it and watching it. And I don't typically watch a lot of my own videos because I do them, so I know them. It's weird. But anyway, I did catch a few things, and almost like by chance the other day, things got thrown at me. I wasn't looking for them. I was sleeping. I woke up and something was on. I'm like, whoa, what's this? Kind of coming to and watching it, and then end up watching the rest of the video. And I'm like, what the heck? But anyway, we were talking about the mindset. I know a lot of people don't get it. If a lot of the listeners, some of us here, we grew up in good homes, had mom and dad, you ate dinners, you had chores, you went to school. That was, you just played sports. But for somebody that's brought into the human trafficking at 4 or 5 and the way they're broke down, and if they do make it, they don't
recover.
If they're not executed or discarded of once they're broken and just worthless to these people, they are attached to. We kind of went into the story of the one I read where in front of all these people after 6-7 years they said, you're gonna die tonight, your time's up, you're going on the butcher block, literally the butcher block. And somebody stood up, no, I'll take her.
It was a show.
And that was a way to really get her to
But it was all plotted that way to get that girl to say, like you said, oh, they stepped in and saved your life. And then
they are forever more
emotionally attached.
So that's just a little bit of the psyche of we wonder how Hollywood could work or some of these people involved. Same thing. Normal. They were put through these systems, and they have handlers, and they're really obedient, and you don't understand that. Their whole world was flipped from mom and dad, and that's your comfort, to your handler's your comfort person, or you're going to listen to that person. That's your I don't know what.
Normalization. There's a name for kidnappers.
Normalize the hell out of it.
People that get kidnapped. If any one of you guys
I said it before.
Type it up there.
Munchauer syndrome, but that's the one with pills
M&M. Watch from others.
What's the Munchauer syndrome?
That's when mom.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm.
That's where you love your captor.
Right.
Like
they gain your trust.
People are like, in the movies, you see 8 years captive with a guy in his basement, but he starts not tying you up, and you don't leave. And
slowly
people
over.
Are like, they must like it. They didn't leave.
Yeah, slowly. Yes.
They're like, no, they become emotionally
attached. They're out getting groceries in the car. They could easily get away with that.
MK Ultra doctors as well.
Ugh.
We know that. They normally work at colleges.
Yeah, I did see where L.A. threatened to shut off the water and power to anybody having house parties.
That's a little bit weird.
There's no law that says you can't have a
On that note, it was really cool. 4th of July, when they said nobody can do anything. Did you guys see California on the 4th of July?
Oh yeah,
From above.
That was
From
awesome.
above?
They did that.
Oh my God!
They just
freedom was exploding everywhere.
Yeah.
They said 900 or 600% increase in fireworks this year because of you're not going to do it.
Excellent.
It was the highest
Excellent.
rated year for fireworks sales
Good.
ever.
Bullets are up, ammo's up, guns are up.
We always do my big party, and we had a blast, man. We got together. There was not one mask on my property.
There's been no shootings lately. Can we talk? We got all the guns
Shootings?
and the ammo and the. There's been no school shootings. There's been no.
Well, there's been
mass
no
shootings.
school.
There's been that's what they're gonna say. See,
Well, that's what
we
we said.
eliminated school shootings. How?
That's what we
shut the
said.
schools down.
That everyone was at home, everyone was out of school at the beginning of this, and I was like, I think maybe it's a way to not let any more false flags happen. And that was one thing. We didn't have any of the people plowing into people. We didn't have any school shootings. So everyone was kind of safe and at home.
From a medical standpoint,
Yeah.
when you get a virus, for your health. See, I've been seeing lately on Facebook, on everywhere, all these people are talking about what we can't do, and no one's talking about true health. So at the end of all this, we're going to get the nonsense out of the way. Then we're going to talk about the real shit that you guys are talking about, is the pedophilia thing going on, man. And so, from a health standpoint, to stay healthy, be out in the sun, get vitamin D3, and I read a lot of millionaire mindset books, and from a success standpoint, and from people that are on their deathbed, the things that matter the most is social interaction. That's why people that are put in the hole go crazy, because they can't bounce their ideas off people. And so what do we do when this virus first comes out? We say, hey, get out of the sun, go into your house, and no school.
Recluse.
Everyone's isolated.
Recluse. Yeah.
Recluse. And it's all coming out. It's all coming out right now. And that's the cool thing with science is you can't fight science, man.
You're not in charge of your own. You're not in charge of your own facts.
Well, when you start doing that, that's a slippery slope, man. It's a very slippery slope.
Speaking of booms, Lebanon. Did you see that? I think everybody's seen that video by now.
I can pull up.
I wish that would have been Pedophile Island. They should have just shoved all the pedophiles in there when they dropped that bomb.
Would have been ideal.
If you haven't seen those, I'm sure you all have. If you haven't, you're definitely.
That was a firework stand, right?
Yeah, they tried to say it. Yeah,
Fireworks.
The
stand?
official narrative.
But the crater in the ground is so big that the ocean came in and filled it. Now it's its own little bay. That's not fireworks.
So when we drop bombs on Hiroshima, those are little boys. Those are like 13 tons
Metric ton.
what was blown up. 2 were blown up that day on that fireworks stand.
Yes.
So 1/5, 1/6 of our bombs on Hiroshima. I saw a video today of people saying, "We are the news." There's people blown to pieces, man. It's disgusting.
Well, they didn't want to miss their target. You kind of wonder what was the target, because what was that big they needed to make sure they leveled 25 city blocks and everything around for a quarter mile lost its ears, its hearing, and they could have just sniped it, dropped a little bomb. Oh no, they hit a bunker buster. What Mikey calls a DEW, a DEW.
Directed energy weapon.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell by the crater that it created. What are you playing here now?
Did you guys see Biden?
Why don't they debate? That's one of my checklists to go over today, or at least ask a
here's the
question.
deal.
They're not going to debate.
If he walks out of his house without macaroni salad in his hair, I'll listen to what he has to say. He thinks he's the mayor of Whoville, and to me, that's just unforgivable.
Mayor of Whoville.
So
I like that.
I said,
you dog face, you lying dog face.
It would be a funny reality show just to tell him that he won, put a bunch of cameras into a make-believe White House, like a room, build it.
Then watch him get shot
and
from behind.
Make it a TV show for us all to tune into, and like the decisions he's making week after week. But he's not really the president. He's just, told he is. It'd work.
He's not. They're not going to let him come out and give a speech. You just hear what he just asked the guy interviewing him yesterday?
Yeah, look right here.
What do you before
Mr. Vice President,
interviewed
your
me?
opponent
Did you do
in this
cocaine?
election, President Trump
Yeah,
has
okay.
made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you'd been tested
this guy, man.
for cognitive decline, you've responded that
Cognitive
you're
decline.
constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive
No,
test?
I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man.
You're out of
That's
your
like
mind?
saying you, before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say
Are you a
to
junkie?
President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know
Come
you're
on,
trying to
man.
goad me.
He cannot
but,
complete one
I'm
thought.
so
Someone help me
forward
with that.
looking
What does that
to
mean?
have
Elephant and a
an
lion. What are we talking
opportunity
about
to
right
sit
now?
with the
Elefantis?
president
Cognitive.
or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be
James
plenty of
Elefantis?
time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say.
Know what you were gonna
Anyway,
say.
I forgot.
I am very willing
Are
to
you a
let the
junkie,
American
man?
public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
Come on, man.
What did any of that effing mean?
I think the "come on, man," he said it so many times. Is maybe that guy wasn't a man. Maybe.
Check this out. This is the, and then I'm probably gonna just step away for a second or something. But
take a break.
I got this one is hilarious. So this is a picture of Joe Biden. Let's see if you can zoom in and maybe I can get Mikey to share the link. But some of you guys probably have seen this. It says, when I was a kid back in Scranton, a wheel fell off my canoe, which made me wonder how many pancakes fit in a doghouse. None, because ice cream doesn't have bones, stupid.
Very true.
That's how he
All
talks.
That's
very
exactly how he talks.
true. All very true.
He has 14 conversations in 20 seconds, and he never completes
Here's
it.
the scary thing: is he could be the leader of the free world.
No, he cannot be.
Well,
he can't be.
Legally speaking, from a political
Well, he
standpoint,
can. Yeah.
That's what's terrible.
Oh,
That's what's scary.
I will leave. I will have to leave this country because they'll hunt guys like that. We're dog faces. You lying dog.
Here's the deal. The funny thing is, Trump supporters is being changed into Trump enablers, and it's a scary thing when you start just we got viewers from both sides of the ticket, but it's just like when you start taking an opinion and censoring it. Let's talk about censorship. Save the Children was censored.
Hashtag save the
Yes.
children.
Censored. I don't even like saying the word censor because what does that mean? We got guys on Save the so I don't care if you're blue, red, what political standpoint you have. Children should matter, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
So when you start taking hashtags off of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that, saying "Save the Children," Facebook. My wife took a screenshot of it. Said, "This is against our Facebook
Policy.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Wait, what? Wait, so
Yeah.
children are against your policies right now?
Yeah.
Then I don't know why I'm a part of the policies to begin with.
Lying dog face pony soldiers. With. Oh man.
Lion, dog face, pony.
I can guarantee you, you're not going to see. We should see it because the only way you can have an election is if they debate. We all want to see the debate.
It's not going to happen.
They're not going to let him get
There's no way.
on
He's
stage
not taking interviews right now.
because Trump will just say, "Okay, the best defense in a debate like that sometimes
Let him
is
go.
let him talk
Wind him up and let him go.
and just." He'll just be all over the
Joke.
map. Well, marshmallows smell purple, and the number 7 is crazy. He'll just
It's
be.
just going to go, and it's not going to happen.
No, it's. I want to see it. One debate, and it'll be over. Everybody will see him. You got to let him talk unedited, live, right? And just let him go for 15
Just let him go.
minutes. Oh, everybody and their brothers.
Cut him loose.
Even his followers, even the extreme left will be like, "Oh man."
This is a crisis.
The major question will be then, who's his vice president? Because they're gonna, he's either dying or gonna be dead.
I had to find this since that last video. Did you hear him? And they're like, "Come on, man!" He says that a lot. I made this probably a month or two ago. Check this out.
This is a crisis.
This is my remake.
This is a crisis.
This is no time for Donald Trump's record of hysterical xenophobia.
Biden's son inked $1 billion deal with a subsidiary of the Bank of China
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man.
What?
They're not bad folks.
Since the outbreak, the Communist Party has been mobilizing overseas organizations to buy local supplies and send them to China.
It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. The beautiful history we wrote together. Banning all travel will not stop it.
The president is right. That travel restriction on China, as every public health official we've talked to said, bought the country time.
That was a very smart move right there.
Hysterical xenophobia. Fear mongering. Xenophobia. I complimented him on dealing with China. I'm not going nuts.
Sell out, sell out, sell out, sell out.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm running for, in this case, running for president of the United States. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other person.
Well, roger that, big dog. Roger that macaroni salad in your hair still.
My name is Joe Trump. I'm running for this thing. So vote for Trump and not that other guy.
Guys, speaking of censorship, Bill Clinton is a pedo was trending on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Why was it trending on Twitter? Why? Because of the flight logs.
Yep.
From
Well, he said he never went there.
He went.
It depends on the definition of it.
It depends on the definition of going there.
Sir, we got the blue dress. Shoot.
All right.
What does DNA mean? Well, sir, it's just new science, and you're about to find out that you're there.
All right. It's time I come clean with the American people.
I ejaculated on her dress as she rudely interrupted me in the back. I mean, he ran out of excuses.
Now I need to get back to working for the American people.
Well, guys, why is that being censored? Let's talk about why. Okay, so censorship from a medical standpoint. So we got these frontline doctors, right? And I've looked into these frontline doctors. You guys seen the frontline doctors?
Yes.
They're no suckers. They're no chumps. They were on the steps of the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C.
Protesting or something?
Speaking truth
Ah.
about hydroxychloroquine. Right?
Why won't Congress interview him like they did everybody else? Stone and AG and...
So, explain this to me. So, being a chiropractor, I deal with people with their health. I request records from their physicians, from their osteopaths, from their cancer doctors, from their radiology reports, from their GI doctors, from all of it. I request all of it. So, who is Zuckerberg and who is Bill Gates to censor what doctors,
right,
board licensed medical doctors, who are they to say? What are they to say and not to say? And the crazy thing is, this thing came out in March or April or May. I have no idea. It's been crazy ever since it came out, right? So, who's to say that what these doctors are actually finding cures? Like, do we want a cure to this thing or not? That's the first question we got to ask ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because hydroxychloroquine has been around for 65 years. These doctors are coming out and saying, hey, we're having 100% resolution rates. And people are saying, you know what? They don't believe the same things I believe. They're from Nigeria, and they believe in spirits and things like that. I thought that all lives matter. I thought that black lives matter. I thought that people's opinions mattered. So the fact that these doctors that are healing people, not us, not guys sitting around a table and talking about it, doctors that are healing people, and people are like, you know what? I don't trust their credentials.
Right.
Then their credentials come out. They're from University of Chicago. They're from Columbia. They're from people that are healing people on the front lines.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember in March or April when we loved our
frontline
parades for our doctors,
What's
nurses,
a parade, man?
Police. How fast did that go away?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
They were going to people's houses that were doctors and nurses and doing special things and for them.
Because at that time, based on the media, they mattered.
Who's Sugar, George? You used can't effing hear you, Sugar. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but
now sugar matters.
I've been paying attention.
Sugar matters too, man.
Yeah,
it all matters.
So what you're saying is there's things that work, but yet we're not able to. That Fauci bugs me because he was around. I dig into him a little bit, and like in 1983, I found his name popped up in the AIDS epidemic that was outbursting.
Correct.
Right.
Now here in the state of Indiana, we had a Ryan White that was shamed, kicked out of school.
AIDS.
He had AIDS. He got it from a blood
Yes,
transfusion.
he did. It was a big story here in Indiana.
And the way he was treated at the schools, like, people thought he had leprosy when he came. We're going to catch AIDS if he touches this, and then we touch it if you breathe it. It was all the same rumor. And that led to a lot of. I remember being a kid in the 80s, being in Chicago, and coming down the handrail system at the zoo, at the science museum industry, and holding the thing. My dad cupping me in the head.
What are you, stupid?
You're stupid, you get AIDS. And I'm like, ugh. And I ran to the bathroom. I remember scrubbing my hand.
Didn't know.
And
We
I
didn't
didn't know
know.
it was a fear of it, but then quickly
right.
or shortly. But I remember other kids being in public pools that shortly years after that, and still the rumors of, you're going to get AIDS.
Fear, man.
So... But he was around back then as one of the propagators. Have you heard anything on that? A little bit of the Fauci?
100%. Hydrochloroquine has been an accepted form of therapy. Here's the deal. Coronavirus, there's like 30 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
The crown is yeah, go on.
No, they've been around since the 60s, 70s. There's 30 of them.
30 different little...
5 or 6 are worse than the others. If you guys have been sick, if anyone has been sick in the last 10 years from the flu season,
You've had a form of it.
it was a form of coronavirus, okay? And while we're on topic, I try and stay away from political things, especially on Facebook, because it's not my scene.
Yeah.
I treat people from every form of life and belief, but why do we call it flu season? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about health, because I keep seeing these memes. I keep seeing like posts. I got chiropractor friends that are talking about how to be healthy, and everyone keeps saying, we can't talk about health until we find the vaccine. So people keep saying, how come no one's talking about health? So why do we call it the flu season? Flu season, what does that even mean to you?
Well, like I would think like generically hurricane season. That's between this time of the year and this time of the year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So why?
Why do we have a flu season? Is it because it always seems to be in the colder months?
Weather changing.
Weather changing.
Absolutely. It gets colder. Why does it get colder?
Sun leaves the
Because
hemisphere,
the sun
man.
leaves the hemisphere, man.
Less vitamin D.
That's right. Less vitamin D3.
Circle of life, man.
That's
You
right.
get sick when the sun goes away. That's why the nighttime is the right time.
The nighttime is the right time.
Guys, we get sick from September to March, February, December, January. Like, if I were to say to you, hey guys, listen up. Like I said, I'm not a political guy. I stay off Facebook. I got a lot of friends from different forms of belief and all that. And since all this thing started, I posted twice on Facebook. My last post was basically like, if I were to come to you guys and say, hey, the flu season's coming up. Like, they're the Denver Broncos, and there's a
What season is this, by the way?
Season,
Like the
season
101st.
in season. Right.
What season are we on?
There's a season, right? Because the sun's going away. And you're not getting our D3. So if I were to say, hey, guys, from September to February, we're going to shut down the country.
Yeah.
Business owners like yourselves, veterans like yourselves are going to lose your businesses. People are going to kill themselves. In fact, in California, more people will kill themselves than people that die from this virus. Kids won't go to school.
Kids are killing themselves.
There'll be a new normal. I saw my uncle for the first time in like a year the other day. And I couldn't hug him because he was, all this fear and all this, like, we can't shake. We got to do the elbow thing.
What a shame.
It's just like, if I were to say, hey, guys, we're going to shut down everything until this virus eradicates itself, and then we'll come out, you'd be like, hey, dipshit, like, turn your brain on, right? For real. That's what we would say.
Yeah.
And because how it played out the way that it played out, it just got accepted. We got desensitized.
I'm
This
sure.
virus, the flu, based on science, I have my sources, the flu
Well, kill more.
killed more. We didn't change anything. No new normal.
Well, nobody
not
cared
changing
Under
schools.
Obama, the H1N1,
The swine flu.
H1N1.
10 times more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost reaching numbers
Of the
Close
to what they got.
What-
And I never
look
heard
around.
nothing
Look
back
around.
then.
Look what's going on, man.
It's to stop a vote, man. Because if they admit it,
But why do they just want? Do they really just doing all of this stuff to just so they can get their guy back in?
Here's my idea.
No, to get our guy out.
Here's my idea.
To get their
all their
person
other plans
in,
have failed.
to
so
get
they come
their
up with this
person
one.
in, to get our guy out, that or the guy that won legitimately, to get him out, to get their person in, and that's it, or is it because there's so much crimes they're trying to cover?
Check this out. Check this out. So let's say you're scared. Let's say you're scared because someone's trying to break in your house. You got fear. You want to change your fear. You want to eliminate the problem. You want change. You want to get rid of that guy coming into your house. Right now, there's so much fear in all these democratic cities. We want change.
And they're going to find a scapegoat.
We want to not be in fear.
Right.
We want to not be in fear. So what's that look like? A change in the White House where Sleepy Creepy Joe, macaroni salad in his hair, Biden, has been in the White House for 8 years anyway?
And did nothing.
And now he's going to come and change things?
He's been around
as he's touching our children?
47
Like, the cool
years.
thing is things are coming out, and this whole save the children is being censored. Joe Biden, that guy's a ticking time bomb.
Yep.
As he should be.
Well, that's
100%.
That's interesting. That
I bet you he doesn't even run. I bet you someone gets slammed in there at the
Oh,
last minute because this guy doesn't know what planet he's on.
No, it's
He
good.
thinks he's running for mayor of
Didn't
Whoville.
they make that a funny joke with Trump? They tried acting like he wasn't mentally capable, but we're really seeing
And
it
then
with
he was-
Biden.
Look what he's done.
Don't you see
Look
it with
what he's
Biden?
done.
Like with Trump, you didn't see it. They just said it. The fake news said that's what was going
He's
on. You're like,
obese.
I don't see him being a moron, but you guys say yes, so maybe, I don't see him being racist.
First stage
but they keep
dementia,
saying it.
they kept saying he had, and then he was
I would-
obese.
I
and
would
then-
cut in. This is probably back in before 14 when the ramp ups of the for 16 were starting, but 14 Trump came out, and I cut in. I wasn't even living in this house yet, and I would cut in. I'd hear like on CNN, well, Trump said it again. Trump's racist, and I'm like, stop. I'm like, oh man, what did this guy say now? And then they would show it, and he's on some. Rally talking about the border. We need to secure the border. People here need to be vetted, and we're a country, so we need to be sovereign. That's what he'd say, and then they'd cut back. Well, there you go. Did you see it? And I'm like, wait a minute. You said he was racist. Where did he?
Who doesn't have a border? Mexico has a border.
I know.
Guys, let's talk back a step back. Like, there's so much propaganda from the media. Let's take it a step
Our
back.
countries have built 8 other countries' borders with our tax dollars. Your tax dollar.
You're welcome.
Correct. Yeah.
What are we talking
It
about?
won't work here though. That's what their guise is.
It's media, man. It's entirely controlled by United States of Media.
There's 6 owners to all the channels you could watch. 6.
Six. Right.
6.
Hey, have you ever?
How many of those are Republicans?
None, I don't think.
0.
They only give the guys, or we only got like Fox News to be a conservative
0.
channel, and they're not even that great anymore.
Right.
It's bad.
Have you ever been so racist?
If you own something, if you owned by the way, if you were really guilty of a bunch of stuff, wouldn't you want to own the media to help control the talking points on you?
I'm sorry. I'm going to do this because that's what I did as a kid. I'm going to say.
I mean, that's
Exactly.
part of it. People are like, the channels. I tell people here all the time, don't get your high hopes up for CNN to come around and start telling you the truth.
Yeah.
They are owned by somebody that they decided they're going down with the ship.
Correct.
There's a few channels. There might be a few that will flip and start telling the truth.
They're
seen
controlling
it,
the
but
narrative. You're absolutely right.
That's it.
So that's why they all was able to get away with all this crap for so long. They're all in bed together, and the guys that are
if you
evil
literally
along with
catch them red-handed, like, oh my god, you walk in on a room, you see all this stuff, they're like, ugh. If you're not dead right away, you're like, I'm telling the world this. You would see the power of it, like real quick. The news comes out and you did it.
You
or
expect the
something.
CEO
You're like, oh my
of CNN to walk around with a camera on him, going, "Look at me, be a pedophile."
God. No.
Hell no. Hell no. He's showing
They're
you.
there, or certain gatekeepers are put into CNN to make sure stories. I mean, you've seen it. Remember the Epstein one? The lady from ABC. She goes, I had this story 13 months ago. They made me shit can it. Right. Her people came in and said, nope, you're not doing the story. Why? Because
Who
it
are
implemented.
They? What are we talking about?
Chief editor.
Exactly.
The
what
guy,
are we talking about, man?
The table of 10 type.
Telling you, man.
It's as long
It's
as they
crazy,
control the
man.
media, they control the narrative. As long as they control the narrative,
See, narrative?
a large portion of this country is just going to foolishly follow them because they don't know any better.
Narrative is a very important word right now. Narrative is the most important word right now because what's crazy is I thought to myself, all right, from a medical standpoint, we're going to talk some science right now. 80% of people that get this virus didn't know they had it.
All right.
Period.
I agree.
There's facts. I brought my sources. 99.8% of people survive from it.
What is that number again?
99.8.
Jeesh.
they survive from it. Okay, that's higher than the
It's
flu.
only 2% or
0.02
0.02. Yeah.
from the flu, right? So we're gonna change our whole country. We're gonna shut down the country. We're gonna do kids. By the way, man, face masks for kids. I'm not going into all that, but anyway, from a
That's
a
gotta be
science
really
standpoint,
bad.
none of this makes sense, man. So I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, what does this all mean? And there's so many other things happening. Like, from a science standpoint, the science is coming out, which is very cool, because it's not my opinion. It's not, I'm a chiropractor and I've, you know, this is the science from Johns Hopkins. You know what? Let me speak for a second. I brought my notes. Let me speak on them for a minute. I got friends that, they're like, so wait, a few guys in the world wanted this pandemic to happen, so it happened, or how'd that work? Well, we're going to talk about who said what when. Did you guys know that there's a patent on the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Do you guys know who owns that?
Bill Gates?
Yeah.
Bill Gates via Pyebrite. Pyebrite. In 2015, they applied for the patent to this virus. November 20th of 2019, that got accepted into patent history. So at that point, they start making money off of it.
Correct. All
right, so let's say that's a conspiracy. That's a mishap. Maybe that happened.
If they can float it that way, it discredits it.
You guys ever heard of Event 201?
Yep.
So that happened at Johns Hopkins in New York. They
had a whole test and stuff too. They did.
Financed by World Economic Forum and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It was a high-level pandemic exercise, stimulated a zoonotic, which means animal, zoonotic coronavirus transmitted from bats to pigs to humans. So October 18th of 2019, we practiced this in New York. Bill Gates.
Was it Gates' wife and Obama, Barack, or was it Michelle Obama and Gates that went
Look
over
up here.
to
Look up
China
here.
and donated 25 mil?
Whoops.
They're the biggest donor to Johns Hopkins and to Pyebrite, the people that own a patent on
There
this
she
thing.
is, Melinda Gates right there. Look how batshit crazy she looks.
Upside down cross right on USA Today.
Mm-hmm. Make sure you zoom in on that.
Did Melinda Gates wear an upside down cross? Bill Gates. Here we go. Simulated reserve.
That sure
I thought I had something better in here. But
it sure does look like a upside down cross to me.
Let's keep talking facts.
Look at that Gates of hell.
Let's keep talking facts.
There you go.
Sources.
Vaccination, digital ID too.
There's your ID 2020. Vaccination, digital ID, and the mark of the beast. But anyway, go on.
Fauci was the head of the National Institute of Health, and in 2014, the federal government sent $3.7 million to the Wuhan. That was back in the 70s,
That was
man.
80s, 83.
80s,
For the 80s. Because
83.
look in the background. See Reagan?
Yeah,
See the
dude.
pictures of Reagan they had? So that's...
Yeah, dude.
Keep going.
Dr. Shi Zhengli, born in China, moved to America to work with U.S. doctors at the University of North Carolina. Their study was shut down because of risk of what's happening. The Department of Health Services shut down the U.S. 2014 study, and she was sent from North Carolina. She's from China. She went back to Wuhan. She was known as the Bat Lady. I have the source here. It was her and Ralph Barrick. And the name of their study was a SARS-like cluster. So SARS is like, you don't get AIDS from somebody. AIDS is a syndrome. AIDS is caused by a certain virus that attacks the body, and then you get AIDS. SARS is a syndrome. So there's COVID-1, COVID-2, COVID-1.
But don't
COVID-2.
viruses need hosts?
Absolutely. That's what they attack, and that's how they host. That's what they do. They cause a syndrome.
So how does this one last out in the public for so long? Like they act like it
It's
just...
not different, man.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to change lots of things.
They just labeled it differently to keep you from going to the
It's
polls.
70.
Man.
So
That's it.
So SARS-1 back in 2005. There's this hydrochloroquine study where Fauci signed off his own study. His name's on it. Fauci signed off on Hydrochloroquine is effective in preventing SARS from COVID-1. Okay?
Jeez.
COVID-2 is 78% identical to COVID-1. And then he says, oh, wait, COVID's not good right now. And if you look into when it comes to like emergency authorization of medical products, so like, going to vaccinate me against my own will. It's not going to happen. I promise you that.
They'd like to.
I got a Springfield 40 in my car. Like, I'm not trying to act like a tough guy. I got a daughter coming. No one's going to vaccinate her. I promised all my life. No one's vaccinating me, my daughter, my family. It's not happening. Per the U.S. government, it's called the Emergency Use Authorization of Medical Products from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The FDA signs off on it. Everything signs off on it. And it says there's qualifying criteria. There's 4 known points of authorizing mandated vaccines. A declaration from them saying it needs to happen. Effectiveness of it needing to happen. Known potential benefits of the product. And no adequate, approved, and available means of health or treatment. Hydrochloroquine, my men, is an effective form since the 70s that's made to fix this problem. Fauci signed off on it in 2005. It's documented. And so if there's no
what is he saying now? Like what does he say about the 99.8 rate of living? I mean, what are they?
There's no
they don't go with that.
There's no reason or logic, man. There's not. It's just this thing came out kind of scary. Nobody knew what it was. Things took place. Science came out. And now everyone's just acting on the same fear from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I agree.
Because there hasn't been studies that we're waiting on yet, like lab studies or the past that they like to do. Those take time.
Exactly.
So,
you know how long they take?
I bet they were already done.
Sometimes.
Vaccines, you know how long they take? 10 to 15 years.
I bet they already had one because they're already hinting like there could be a possible vaccine
10 to 15
this fall.
years.
Right.
And now they're saying, wait, this started in November and now we got one already?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Guys, I'm a chiropractor, like I said. My children are not going to be vaccinated. There's certain risks to it, and I've got 40 sources that I'm just going to leave with you guys. And this is not a vaccine debate, but I'm telling you that if we're so concerned about this fatal 0.02 fatality rate virus, we want a cure, we got to have a cure. So the same frontline doctors, police, firemen come forward and say, hey, we got one. They're like, you know what? She's from Zimbabwe and she believes in things I don't believe in, so she's uncredited.
Right.
Wait, what?
Right.
Wait. Like either all lives matter or they don't.
Well,
I went to those words. Like either they do or they don't.
Yeah.
We don't get to pick a lane and stay in it. You don't get to get your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
They're still giving abortions. Don't tell me lives matter. If the government cared about lives, man, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's my body, my choice.
Quit giving Planned
right?
Parenthood $38 million. Yeah, that's damn right.
My body, my choice. I want to wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask.
If you can have an abortion, then I have the right not to wear a mask because it has everything to do with me. Although
you're selfish. You're not an American.
Correct.
Listen, dude.
I might be selfish, but I'm not a damn murderer. You know, so if the government really wants to throw that shit in your face,
7 days of a week,
yeah.
I'll take selfish over murderer, 100%.
Let's do a garage talk, man.
All right, let me put.
We're probably up there at.
Guys, this is fun. I enjoy this.
We'll come back up and finish up.
Yeah.
All right. So let me find something here to play.
Oh, that one. What the heck?
Thoughts on on Biden. What is your guys' thoughts on? Do you think Biden will?
It's going to be Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton. It's going to be. Yeah, Michael.
All right. I'll play this one. Greatest story never told. It's 20 minutes. So.
We'll be back.
The story I'm about to tell you
is true. Perhaps the most intriguing part of this story is that every single person watching this video, every single one of you, was alive when the story became news in 2004. And the fact that it is so intriguing is because everyone watching this video has either never heard of this story or forgot about it. I'm betting on the first one, that you never heard of it, because it is truly unforgettable. God bless all the victims and the family members and anybody that had to go through and deal with any of these people. Furthermore, once you hear this story in its entirety that I'm getting ready to tell you, I can promise it'll be seared into your memory forever. Enter our main character, a fellow by the name of Marc Dutroux. He was born in Belgium in 1956. He was twice convicted of kidnapping and raping underage children. The first time was in 1989. The second time occurred in 1996. And yes, you heard me right. You heard me correctly. He was convicted and served a much too brief sentence back in 1998. He actually only served about 3.5 years of his 13-year sentence because he was released for good behavior. There was no children in the prison. And then less than 10 years later, he was arrested again on the exact same charges, different victims. Now, in this second round of charges that he caught, he was convicted of kidnapping, torturing, and abusing victims, some of them to the point of death. What I'm about to tell you comes from statements made by his surviving victims, called the X-Files, and some of it from Marc Dutroux himself, and evidence from law enforcement. I've also added references and citations at the very bottom of this video in the description box. And here we go, down the rabbit hole. Marc confessed to kidnapping, raping, drugging, torturing, and filming children for many, many, many years. He had also claimed he was doing it at the behest of a political elite who financed his career as a professional trafficker. I'm going to make some connections for you here. This is how we do it. Now, not only did this political elite finance his efforts, they made specific requests of him. Sometimes they requested specific types of children. They were called party favors, and he was asked to deliver kids of certain age, sex, and races. Sometimes they requested specific means of torturing the children to fulfill their desires, orgies, satanic rituals involving sacrifices, and torture, games, offerings. Hopefully I'm painting the picture for you here clearly enough. And sometimes they requested he film certain influential people engaged in these acts for later use as blackmail. Now, Marc claimed many of his customers and financiers were world leaders. This was not a stretch of the imagination because he lived in Belgium, where the EU and NATO headquarters were located. This statement was also corroborated by victims who were able to identify specific, very specific politicians. Ah, we see all of you. We have it all. It's just a matter of getting it all out to the public. Anneke Lucas was one of his victims who testified against him. She claimed when she was 6 years old that the cleaning lady hired by her mother sold her to to the pedophile network in 1969. Her claims were very extraordinary. She was raped over 1,700 hours before turning 12 years old. She was 6 years old when she was forced to participate in her first orgy, which included wearing an iron dog collar and eating human excrement. She would eventually and actually be delivered back to her parents from time to time. However, her parents themselves were complicit in the crimes and always sent her back to the abusers. I know this is horrible, just please bear with me. For the victims, please pray for the victims. Torture, including being strapped to a butcher's block used to execute other children. Other victims were forced to torture her for hours as part of their initiation. She was considered very attractive, and that made her preferred by her abusers. She claimed that she tried to use that for her survival, an advantage to the best of her ability. But by the age of 11, she had become so broken that she was slated to be executed and disposed of like trash. Now, she went on to say that she was saved one day when her abuser negotiated for her freedom. That abuser would later sit as a defendant in her trial. Then other witnesses and victims would soon come forward, describing such things as black masses with child and adult sacrifices taking place in front of observers and participants, which included prominent politicians and figureheads around the world. This would be corroborated by a note found by the police at the house belonging to Bernard Weinstein, a man who previously worked with Detroit and who became Mark Detroit's had murdered. Previously who worked with Mark, but whom Mark later had murdered. The letter contained very specific requests for certain types of victims, for different satanic sacrifices, for different offerings. This stuff does exist. The letter was signed by a man who called himself Anubis. It turned out Anubis was a high priest of a satanic cult called the Abrasax, whose real name was Francis Desmet. Police obtained a warrant and seized computers, documents, mail, actual human skulls, jars of blood, and all sorts of satanic items. But none of this was enough to make an arrest. As the Mark Detroit's trial went public, other victims kept coming and stepped forward and confirmed the testimony, each of them offering up descriptions of sexual abuse and human sacrifice that all worked and went in line with each other. And here where it gets a little bit more disturbing. They also described hunting parties where the elites would release naked children into the woods to hide, so that the elites themselves could hunt them down and slaughter them. Many of the stories and victims contained so many different similarities, they were impossible to deny. For example, the hunting parties were often held at castles where the victims could not escape and were hidden from the public eye. Those not killed in the hunt were usually chased down and mauled and killed by Dobermans. All of these victims echoed the testimonies of other, older survivors of the ritual satanic ninth circle hell ring abuse from around the world. It is also notable that Mark Detroit's owned 10 homes valued at about $6 million at the time of this. It is also notable that Mark was not employed. It was also notable that Mark received $1,200 per month in public assistance. It is also notable that documents released by WikiLeaks show large sums of money in various currencies were deposited into his wife's bank account. It is also notable that those deposits coincided with reported kidnappings and missing children reports. It is also notable that before his removal, Judge Jean-Marc Corneret was on the verge of publicly disclosing the names of high-level government officials who had been recognized on videotapes of sexual torture that took place at Mark Detroit's dungeon. It is also notable that 20 potential witnesses for this case have died without explanation. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Have you connected the dots? Are there any headlines today that sound like history is repeating itself? This is in another country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, not one single thing in this video is theory. It has all been proven, and it is all on the record. You see these pictures here on the screen? Those are images of the hunting games. They're paintings that people like Tony Podesta buy and hang in his home and invite others over to enjoy while they sip on their 200-year-old brandy. We all know Epstein was a sick SOB who had friends in high places, the same friends that hung out with Tony Podesta. You think Epstein was the only one all by himself, that somehow he was a unique individual? Or was he the low-level one that they were willing to sacrifice, offer up, to protect everyone else involved at a much higher level? Do you realize now that when it comes to trafficking, Satanism, pedophilia, human sacrifice, organ harvesting, adrenochrome, that is an art imitating life, that these people who are so obsessed with the art that glorifies these things might actually themselves be engaged in these kinds of things? Do you think normal, non-pedo, non-cannibal, average Joes would hang out with that kind of garbage up in their homes or hang pictures like that? And suddenly, after years of talking about this, the claims that world leaders and governments around the world and prominent movie stars, they said, follow the stars, that them being involved in this satanic horror show isn't so far-fetched after all. Suddenly, it's not so crazy to say that the world agencies who claim to stop these crimes, WHO, the UN, are actually, some of them are got small facets that cover up the real work of procuring and enabling, yes, and even participating in these actual crimes against humanity. Suddenly the whole house of cards comes crashing down. With this one case, all of the unbelievers are silenced. For crying out loud, this trial was done back in 2004. Do you remember it? If not, do you wonder why it was not on the front page of all the newspapers across the world? And if you're asking yourself, how do these people get away with this? Have you not figured it out yet? That the very people who are supposed to end it are doing it? By this point, most of everyone has watched at least an Epstein documentary off of Netflix. I think there have been 3 or 4 more made since his death, supposedly. And the one thing I've heard people say over and over and over again was, where is Epstein's girlfriend? And why hasn't she been arrested yet? Did anyone asking that question even try to find that answer out like we did? Or did you just shrug your shoulders like every other time and say, well, it is what it is and there's nothing I can do about it, and then go on with your next little fairy tale. And this is the reason I'm here, and I've been here, so let me help you out again. Did you hear the news story from about 2 weeks ago that President Trump fired federal prosecutor Jeffrey Bremen? He was the prosecutor in charge of the Epstein case. You heard me right. Trump ordered the firing of prosecutor Jeffrey Bremen to bar. Peekaboo, we see you. Now hit the road, Jack. Attorney General Barr requested that Bremen step down. Bremen refused, so Trump fired him, and Bremen was replaced with prosecutor Audrey Strauss. And then suddenly, bam, Maxwell is in custody. And now we all get a front row seat for the horror show that is about to come out. You will not believe who is involved and how deep the rabbit hole really goes. And you will not believe the length that they go through in order to protect these deep, dark, vile secrets.
Take it all. You want it all.
Very soon, terrible news will spread. It'll seem impossible to believe. Horrible, sickening, unbelievable things that'll shake your world and may turn everything you've ever believed in upside down. People you know will be accused of the unbelievable, monstrous things. This could be, and most likely will be, people in Hollywood, politics, journalists, pop stars, charities, religious leaders, institutions, heads of states, certain police officers, etc., so on and so forth. We want you to know that good people have been fighting a silent battle behind the scenes in order to save the world from the terrible horrors. It was a lonely war. It was a silent war. Chances are you did not even notice it, but you will soon. That's why we are here, warning you, and why you must hear us out. We're just a bunch of anonymous people from around the world. We didn't want money. We didn't want fame. We just couldn't sit and watch the world burn and do nothing about it.
Bill Barr is following the law, and what's his reward? Democrats are going to hold him in contempt.
Sold us out for $1. Be prepared for what you will find. Some truths are hard to swallow. Remember, inform your friends and family. Stay calm and inform yourself. We are the truth. We are the news. Again, I am Michael. This is the Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you. And where we go one, we go all.
You don't know what's in store, but you know what you're here for. Close your eyes, lay yourself beside me.
Woo! What a great video.
Sick.
We're back. And we're on.
Man, I was looking for the list. I had it earlier before I got here of Maxwell's list that came out, but I do see that the judge is allowing her appeal that none of her sex life comes into play just yet.
September 22nd. What sucks is because it's like her sex life or whatever is on the same file as the guys involved with all of it.
Right.
So, like, if from a legal standpoint, you know, that's held
It's
up
sealed
until
currently, but there is a list out there, and I was looking
here's
at
the
it
crazy
earlier.
thing is September 22nd is that date. Hillary Clinton
Testifies.
on September 9th.
Yep.
Quote me on that. Legal Watch? Is that the website?
Judicial
Watch.
Tom Fenton.
That's right.
That's right. Good guy.
Guys, Mel Gibson.
Tom Hanks.
No, not Tom Hanks. Mel Gibson. On that note,
I want to find that damn list. I had it.
I got the list of all the names.
that guy moved to Greece. He got his citizenship in 2019. So this is not like new news. You know?
Right after his last
but
movie.
They don't so disabilities. So if you have bipolar disorder, if you have certain health conditions, pedophilia is considered the same thing as the same class of things in Greece.
It's a disability.
That's where this dude is at.
Uh-huh.
Why?
Because
he's
sick.
He's sick.
We see the list of names. I got it right here.
Yeah, I found it this morning. All of a sudden, I'm going back through there and I can't find it. But
I looked up.
yeah, as much as I wanted to watch Tom Hanks' newest movie called Greyhound, because I'm a war buff and used to be a Tom Hanks fan. I'm not sure I'm going to watch it, but it was right after he finished that, he was already on his way to Greece. I didn't want to believe it.
Oh, ex-Patriot, huh?
He was on his way to Greece.
He said it after the end of the movie.
Once he completed his latest movie, Greyhound, and it's probably going to be the last movie Tom Hanks ever
Greyhound,
makes.
That's what it was.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's a great movie, but now all of a sudden I don't want to watch it.
Guys,
it's tough.
I'm not going to support that guy because I'm sure he'll get some kind of payment.
Hell no. No way.
Tom Hanks and Rita are dead.
Should be. If
Could
they're
be.
not, they will be. Doesn't matter. That's what I was talking to my little brother about. And I was like, man, Will Ferrell, big names, good people, Tom Hanks, America's treasure. Like, it's like, damn, Gabe, that sucks.
Follow the stars, they say.
Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, the people that are in your face every day. Ellen, every day, giving you opinions on why, and everybody wants to be like
my
him.
study of the Hollywood, and it doesn't blow my mind anymore because it was one of the first little chapters I got into early on. But it's a control arm of the Illuminati. So they always gave us the illusion as a kid that if you were good enough at home, or you're watching these TVs and movies and TV shows, and you're like, man, I could be a movie star, and you just thought you had to be found, be good enough, maybe try out. You knew the scheme, get into modeling, and then from there you get But really, it's a gatekeeping thing where you'll never ever get through unless they decide so, and then you normally have to promote and one of the agendas they have,
right?
It's a satanic agenda. And
why did Robin Williams commit suicide? Why did Prince? And he's one of my favorite artists of all time. He made his studio in Minneapolis.
He got away from all that,
man.
and that's why he got that symbol back. Because if you looked in, he knew all that, and he was like trying to regain his soul or life back from them by changing his name to a symbol. It was crazy stuff, man. He was really...
He was kind of hinting towards it so he didn't have to spill his guts, because I'm sure he was probably afraid of it for his life. And he essentially ended up killing himself too. Michael Jackson. I mean, you think about all these people. It's just, I don't know. It just blows my mind how any of this could be just a coincidence or a conspiracy.
You tuned into this show before you came on. And you probably got a sense of me or Scott, if you watch some of our old shows, or me, like, okay, I see, and you could be like, I probably have some common interest with this guy, Mike. And today you're here, we maybe have, but the difference of you watching Will Ferrell your whole life and thinking you like him is you don't really know the guy because every movie was a script written by somebody else. Mm-hmm. So that's the false sense that we get. Like, I think it'd be real cool to hang out with John Candy or something back in the day, but then you get with him, he's a real depressed piece of shit. All he does is he wakes up and does drugs after drugs, and he's emotional by noon, and you're like, oh my god, I can't stand this guy, I don't want to be around him. But for the days of the movie, he gets himself together, and it's like snapping there into this.
What's his name from 2.5 Men?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen is one of the most wickedest people on the planet. I mean, something about
7 gram rocks.
7 grand rocks. Yeah. He's in the interview. Are you high now? Well, probably. But no. Not,
what is high? I haven't used since I last used.
The kid from Lost Boys. The
Hames. Well, Corey's the two Corys. Corey Haim, Corey Feldman.
Was saying way back then.
Corey Feldman, my man.
Yeah.
He was ostracized, and his career.
Because why?
Because he spoke up.
Spoke the truth.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen supposedly molested him, and then you had Macaulay Culkin talking about
the deal, guys.
the same shit.
Let's break down what you just said. Charlie Sheen just raped him. How big of a problem is that to you guys? Those words, 3 words. The joke is 3 words long. It's not much meat, no fat.
Well,
like that's the problem.
The true thing that I read. You remember the movie Lucas? Corey Haim is like a kid with glasses, and Charlie Sheen's a quarterback in the movie.
That's when they met. That's when they met.
No,
yeah, that's the set.
I've never seen it. Sorry.
Well, it's an old '80s movie. Corey Haim was just getting. He's been in a few movies before
November
that.
of '89. So.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Yeah, this was probably like an '85 movie.
Holy pup!
90s kids.
So you definitely didn't see it in the theater, but no. This movie, Corey Haim talks about that he was new, just a few movies in, and everyone knew of Charlie Sheen. He had just got done doing, I don't know, whatever, Red Dawn or a few other good movies. So it was just known, and Corey said he was not gay by any means, but it was known like to get places, and if you can get in good with Charlie Sheen, you're gonna be. And it was like it was some sick stuff, right? Happened off the set that night of the movie. The next day, Charlie Sheen acted real funny to Corey. Then like, ugh, you disgust me, get away, because he probably discussed it with himself. Right. I don't understand these people's psyche.
They're weirdos. They're weirdos.
Scott Baio, good guy. I like him. He's a Republican, conservative, but the chick came out on him. He raped me. It would have been pedophilia type stuff because she was only 13 when she first came on that set.
No.
He
it's just
admits to, well, we did have, but it was consensual. She was at 8 when she turned 18. It's kind of like, eh. It's kind of like Will Smith dating his son's girl now.
It's all getting worse.
She just turned 18. But yeah, he talks about, well, I've grown into this relationship with her. So, wait, she just turned 18 yesterday. You helped her buy the cake and have the party. But how did you have this relationship?
Well, it's platonic.
Oh, yeah, just,
I just fell in love and had
when
physical
when she blew out the candles, I looked at her for the first time.
Right.
And I realized I love her.
You caught me in my own web of crap.
So there's lots of this in our face. It's always been in our faces.
And it's a club.
It's a club,
and of course,
for sure.
People always said, I use the same words. I didn't want to think that Tom Hanks or Will Ferrell or those. I didn't want to think anybody was capable of doing that stuff. But it makes perfect sense that the club is doing it.
The list I showed, which it was lengthy, and though that list came out of the Maxwell court case on last Thursday, so it's all legit. It's been covered from the 08 case. It got sealed. So these are the names of all the actors. Of course they were upset. That's why wives are leaving people and all that, right? Well, imagine a lot of people, I thought this other person was involved. I know they are on a different level. I thought, you're missing. Their name's missing. I'm like, well, this is a list we got, but this is also the list that just went to Epstein Island. Think of these people as the gatekeepers.
Right.
Not everyone goes to Epstein Island.
Did you see the story where Epstein's banker?
Only the handlers go to. So like somebody would come back from Epstein Island that got to go, like a Hanks. He would come back, and he had people under him in Hollywood that were indebted, that were low, that hadn't got to go yet. They haven't been invited yet.
Right, dying.
They weren't making $50 million or $100 million a movie like he did.
Right, and
they know that's what it's all about, you guys. That's a way to get you the money. If you don't go and do all that stuff, if you refuse to show, your movies you only get 100,000, and it's very
Corey
little.
Feldman, he's the man.
Well,
Corey Feldman is the man. That Mel Gibson is the man. I'm gonna read a quote real quick. While we're on the topic.
Mel Gibson's a piece of shit.
Mel Gibson is a piece of shit. I can change your mind.
Daddy's here. Everybody listen up.
You hear that audio, you freak out, man.
We'll do that in garage talk before you guys leave.
I love you. I hate you. I hate you. I love you. Come back to me.
Oh.
Let me beat you some more, you whore.
Listen to the, sorry. What's his name? Gibson audio tapes. At least 3 of them. There's probably 10. Listen to the first 3, man. Holy shit.
You will throw up.
Like Mel Gibson?
Oh, yeah.
Passion of the Christ, my ass.
Dude, seriously, he was horrible to his ex-wife.
If I were you, I would not give Mel Gibson any credit right now.
I don't know what she did to him. She sounded normal on the phone. He sounded...
I don't know, man.
I just did a complete 8-ball, and I'm going to come over and kill you right after you. Let me hold... I want to hold my kid again. Take me back. I'll kill you. Please take me. He
says nasty stuff, and there's like, I hope you get raped by a pack. He says some horrible stuff.
Do you know who I am? He just kept going on and on.
What's your guys' take on Ashton Kutcher then? While we're on the conversation,
he's doing all right work. He is exposing some of the pedophilia stuff.
So here's how I feel, because my little brother came up to me and he was like, "Yo, did you hear about Ashton Kutcher doing all this good work?" And from my source, I heard the opposite side of it. I
Okay.
heard that he was like just a handler, right?
I haven't looked into.
Ellen, Oprah,
Yes. Oh,
let's
yeah.
keep blowing things up, but I'm gonna, and
Paul Walker was digging into Hillary Clinton.
I feel like Mel Gibson, the dude made a movie about Jesus dying on the cross.
Yeah,
how
well,
many guys you know that does that?
That he covered his own. Well, yeah, but if I tell you all day long I'm a good guy and turn around at night and become Satan, what you
See, that's a
is
movie.
what you get.
That was a movie that was scripted that he followed. Even though he was
Fair
fighting
enough.
demons during the movie, he made a good movie. Maybe, but I'm saying,
Can I just read a quote?
real life.
I was gonna read a quote.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
William.
I'm taking everything into account.
You're actually going to say a Mel Gibson quote?
Yeah.
We're going to bombard you with the opposite.
Yeah, no, that's why we got into it now. So like,
I'll have to play a little. Go ahead. Go.
oh man.
Be real, all I can tell you is, as a friend of yours, I would advise you to be real careful about supporting Mel Gibson. Because
I won't quote him. I'll take that into effect. He talks about Hollywood selling their studios and roles for blood of children.
Mm-hmm.
So
How
now,
old is that, by the way?
When he was making Daddy's Home 2, the second one.
Well, that's just recently?
That's pretty
last
recently.
8 years or so, 6 years.
Well, these phone calls and maybe he was in a dark place are from. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
You found him
10 years ago.
Did you find him?
Boys, like, I'm no saint.
Well, no,
You
hear
we're
this?
not gonna compare, but like, oh boy.
No, keep going.
Here
Keep
we
going.
go.
Keep going.
Here we go.
I was getting it.
Keep putting him up on a pedestal because we're going to rip it down right now. It changed my mind. I loved Mel Gibson. I'm a Braveheart guy. I'm a Patriot.
So now you guys are about to watch me in my crash in front of God and everybody on TV. No, hey, Mike. I want to say publicly, thank you for having me, man. Seriously, this is a first time for me, and it's an honor to my veterans, Mike.
And you'll be back, right?
I'll absolutely be back.
Depends what this video
You're
goes
gonna be at the
to.
Patriot Fest?
In a world that we live in Patriot's a great movie.
You're going to be able to be at the Patriot
Quote
Fest?
me on that after the facts, but...
The man makes good movies. He's a good actor, but man,
that's
is he
the whole
Satan.
illusion of it.
Come on. Let's see it first. Come on.
All right,
Let's
hold
talk
on.
about it.
Let me
He
see.
really wants to see. He's got to go home and burn every movie he owns of Mel Gibson.
All right, we'll just
I
start.
don't have any videos. I just moved.
Where did I do
I loved him. I did.
What did I do?
I get what you're about to hear.
In front of God and everybody,
Here
I'm
we
just about to just fall apart here.
I gotta do it this way so they can hear.
Sure. Oh,
all right,
folks,
everyone at
for-
home, what
yeah.
you're about to hear, I do not condone or
Children,
support.
turn the phone off.
Yeah, if there's kids in the room, get them out. Maybe. Oh, that gave me an X.
But this is a little bit of shedding the light of what our heroes are, the people that we as a society. And when I say we, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying society
I can rock with that 100%.
idolize athletes in Hollywood, and this is just
100%.
a little glimpse of. Be very careful who you idolize. You should. There's only God's a jealous God anyway, so.
So we don't need.
I would stop at idolizing anybody. I liked Mel Gibson's movies. I won't ever say a positive word about Mel Gibson again.
Dude.
Which sucks.
I 100% rock with that. I can get my head behind that. That makes a lot of sense.
Will Ferrell. I grew up with Will Ferrell and
Dude.
Jim Carrey, but I can't get on the bandwagon of saying I like them or even.
You know what my favorite movie is, especially come Christmas time?
National Lampoon's Vacation, Christmas Vacation.
Of course, keep guessing though.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
That's a top 5.
1 and 2. 3's not so much.
He
but
found.
Elf is a big family Christmas time movie, and that's over now.
Mike, you just found it. You're in
Why is it
serious-
so low?
I don't know. You can probably have.
That's not
See
gonna
if-
work.
No?
Keep looking.
Gabe, I hear you, man. It's over, man. It's a new world.
Ferrell was always creepy. Jim Carrey, what was it? Was it the Leno or Late Night or whatever? He goes out there and he gives the triangle symbol with his hands, and then he gives the tongue, and that's supposed to symbolize eating children. And nobody knew what the hell that meant, but he tied it along with one of his little skits or rants or something, so it appeared to be funny. But all of his people that he's in this real deep, dark, hole-ish place understood what the triangle and the eating, moving of the mouth
Stay on
was.
this phone and don't hang up on me. I have plenty of energy to drive over there. You understand me?
Hey, my hearing.
Yeah, here he goes.
So just fucking listen to me. Listen to my fucking ranting. Listen to what you do to me.
I didn't do anything to you.
A pain in the ass.
You are ruining my life.
You make my life so fucking difficult.
Well, you know what? It's
Can't be a woman that fucking supports me instead of a woman that sucks off me. And just fucking sucks me dry. And wants. Get out to this relationship if you're a good woman and you love me. I don't believe you anymore.
What did you just
Sick
say?
of your bullshit. Has any relationship ever worked with
He's
you?
evidently mad.
No!
Listen to me. You don't love me because somebody who loves does not behave this way.
I
do not.
I
Hang
know
on a
I'm
second.
behaving like this because I know
One
absolutely
second.
that you do not love me and you treat me
One
with no
second,
consideration.
please. Can I
I
please
love you
speak?
because I treated you with every kindness,
No.
every consideration. You
No.
rejected. You
I'm
will
sorry.
never be happy. Fuck you. Get the fuck away from me. But my daughter is important. All right? Now, you have one more chance.
He's gonna give her one more
Now,
chance.
fucking go if you want, but I will give you one more chance. You make me want to smoke. You fuck my day up. You care about yourself.
You're so
when I am being
selfish.
so fucking good to you. You fucking
I
crazy
didn't
drug
do anything. I did not do anything. This is your selfish imagination. That's all.
You should just fucking smile and blow me. Because I deserve it.
I'm sleeping with a baby. I'm waking up every 2 hours. I fell asleep because I was waiting for you because you weren't ready to go to jacuzzi as we agreed.
Who the fuck cares? We agreed nothing. You agreed. You just fucking expect shit. Go to the goddamn jacuzzi or something.
How
Go
much
to
longer is
fuck the fucking jacuzzi. It's a
I got the
sin.
idea.
I was just.
No fucking soul.
I didn't blame you for anything.
Screaming because
I was just waiting asleep. Be patient.
Cut our losses and
You need medication.
not listen to us.
And if you will not
Go ahead and stop it, Mikey. I think he's just about ready to...
gratitude is because I fucking bent over backwards with my balls in the knot to do it all.
So if you
Not
look
bored.
those,
Wrong word. It's the wrong word.
if you look those up and you
Now that I'm not. Of course, he didn't know he was being recorded. She did. So there's there's no excuse. That is a marriage thing. He really thought he was just talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. Is that the real him?
Well,
who did we meet years ago? That was Hollywood. Came all the way to Lakeville and everything. We sat and had beers. I drumped a beer on him. I went to go shake his hand. I was all nervous and.
Randy Couture.
Yeah, Randy Couture. Expendables.
Yeah.
Good movie.
She, who was dating him, and told me some. We'll hold names.
It was my back then.
She had
my
made a
girlfriend,
point to me, like when they were, arguing. She didn't know, like, if he was being real because, there was cheating and stuff going on. And I was like, really? And it was like, yeah. And when he was sitting there like, baby, and it's like, man, is he acting or is it real? You don't, because he's an actor.
Right.
You think some of these people
ever get out of their
like him when he has to be sincere to her because there's some cheating or something that they go down, they start citing things. She goes, wait, wasn't that from your last movie?
Lethal Weapon? That was like 7 lines from
Wasn't that the closing lines of Lethal Weapon 2?
I don't even have my own thoughts anymore, damn it. It's just I'm programmed. So
help me.
It was bad. And it gets worse.
So I'm real careful to put up any Hollywood person, any person up on a pedestal.
Especially Mel Gibson. Apparently. You guys should have put a sign up. Because if I would have known.
Hey, we love when people learn stuff. And that's what we're all about here.
I warned you.
Jesus Christmas.
I told you to come with your stuff, man. I told you to come I challenged when
I brought my sources. This was a different type of burn.
You weren't ready for that part of the debate.
Mel Gibson's feelings don't matter.
You would never hear me say. Then I'm not beating up on you now, just a little bit, but I'm real careful about what topics I choose to sound.
Well, so here's the deal.
Make my own judgments and opinions because if I will never talk or act matter of fact about anything that I'm not up to par with because I don't want to get blown away.
I brought the laptop and all the sources, and Mel Gibson was I came over here with the Patriot mentality,
Well, hey, we appreciate that.
And here's the deal.
Hey, he might be fixed.
I want to believe. But again, at the same time, I was talking to my little brother.
You guys are acting lame, but of course believe the woman. We're not just. Mike just made a good point. We're not necessarily believing the woman because she obviously wasn't going to act evil because she knew it was going to be recorded and she knew she was going to make it public. My point is,
whoever you're responding to, you're wasting your time.
You know,
in my opinion.
My point is she did get Mel to show his dark side. Now, was that entrapment? Absolutely. Have we all had moments? Absolutely.
Did he ever do that when he wasn't being recorded? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why she decided to record it. So there's a couple of things to put into 202-506-9005 is the number. Why don't you give us a call? We'll take a few.
Yeah, it could be about Pelosi and the Democrats. It could be about the riots.
It's your calling. Yeah, if you got a question for the doctor, if you got a question for Scott or myself, if you got love life issues, maybe hold off on that one for another day.
Yeah, do not call in with love questions.
I am not Delilah. I could be.
Let's see what...
got a 30-second delay here. We'll see.
Missing children in Arizona in July was 600. One of our Nancy Daly tells us Arizona had 600 missing children last month. Gee, that's quite a few. That's about 600, way too many. On Twitter.
Phone lines are open.
Yeah, Daniel, I think, Danielle, you got on a little late. Dr. Zach is with us today. Physical therapist / chiropractor / doctor / just all-around patriot.
202-506-9005.
Sounds like Mike Jones' number.
8675.
Mike Jones.
289-230.
She lost $15 million in custody settlement for releasing those tapes, but probably got paid twice by the tabloids. And you think she got $15 to $30 million for releasing that?
Damn. They played that to the one person we want them.
There we go. Phone ringing.
All right, here we go. We got our first phone call. Welcome to the Patriot Hour. You got Mike, Scott, and Zach on. What's up? Hello, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello.
There he is.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Hey, this is Steve from Dallas.
Steve from Dallas. What's going on?
Just want to call and talk, man, about pedophile rings, everything.
Sorry.
They're kicking off on it, talking all about it. What do they call that out there in California where they get together once a year out there in the redwoods?
Bohemian Grove.
The Bohemian Grove. That's it. That's it.
I can't.
It's like the politicians and the Hollywood movie stars and in front of the big Moloch, and you know, it's like, wow, man. All the dots that could be connected throughout the years. You know, I want to say that you guys are doing a great job doing that, by the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's risky.
And
I may not make it home today.
what's that? You might not make it home.
Yeah, Scott said it's risky business. I think it used to be a lot more, but now I think there are things going on. Like you said, it's happening. It's coming out. The dots are all being connected. And, you know, there wasn't going to be no prosecution of that G. Maxwell until they got rid of that guy. And Trump put in the new lady, and then boom, she got arrested. The guy refused to arrest. And you think, well, why was he refusing? He was in the way. You know, this is what people don't understand for resolve or people getting arrested is there are certain key people in play that have leverage or they're blackmailed or they're complicit. And they're put into places on purpose to help stop any prosecutions around the world.
Is he still there?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I'll tell you what. I've been following Q for about 2.5 years, but I'll say this: I'm 50 years old, and I don't know, somewhere, you know, in my 40s, it just started hitting me, man, that there's something not right. And I started saying that the God that they're praying to up there in Washington is not the God that we, the people, pray to or believe in. And, you know, always said that a veil would be lifted and that we would see what was going on officially one day. And here we are with the Q movement. Man, I've taken so much flack for speaking about Q. You know, I've been on AM radio broadcast across the nation. Most of them won't even let me speak.
Go
now,
figure.
It's starting to open up, man. It's because programs like this, guys like y'all, and I even make T-shirts now. Where we go one, we go all, and most people don't even know what it means.
Oh yeah, man, that's good.
Well, we appreciate it.
You're an elective group, man. You're selected group. We appreciate all of that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys, man. I mean, and it's been hard. It's been hard for people like me, Christian. We are being persecuted once again.
Amen.
I mean, in a way that's like medieval.
Don't minimize it. It is. You're absolutely being persecuted.
He said a medieval in a medieval kind of way, even.
Yeah, we really are.
Absolutely. I'm not a theologian, but I do believe in the Bible, and I'm also not a veterinarian, but I know a horse's butt when I smell one. Guys, there's something going on with their thing.
I like that.
I like it. Yeah.
Good.
Nope, that's the thing. This is able to operate. People are asking why like this was able to operate, just for example, Epstein under Clinton, under Bush, right into Obama. Actually, under Obama, Epstein went down because of, even though they tried to cover, naturally he did so much crap that something finally made it into the courts by default.
Yeah.
But then the best they could do is give him like the 18 months and very minimal. He stayed like one night a week on Sunday nights. He had to stay, or every night of the week, but he was able to leave.
12-hour breaks to go to work.
12-hour days off. I mean,
you,
what the
you
hell?
or I go out and get a DUI, just a DUI. We ain't even talking about molesting a kid yet, and they're going to throw you in jail possibly up to a year and give you a $10,000 fine, etc. This guy rapes a kid and is allowed to go to work 12 hours a day. Well, it's obvious why. Power and money.
For sure.
There is a problem. Now, don't get me wrong. I back the blue, always have. But there's this multiple levels of corruption from the bottom. I mean, look, it's amazing. It is totally amazing how once Trump took that office, how things started to be exposed. I mean, even from our local officials. I don't call them leaders. They're officials. They work in an official capacity. From the local judges, to all the way to state politicians, all the way up to the top. This, like you said, got my attention when you said it too. It's going to be biblical. It's amazing.
Dallas, we certainly do appreciate you, man, and I'll tell you, I think we touched on it, the last show that I did, and if I didn't, I meant to touch on it. But it's you hear a lot, kind of like you just said, or you were, I don't know if that was a statement / question, but for a long time this wasn't, because this is the question I've been asking: why isn't the media covering it? Why isn't the media covering it? Well, when you start getting enough of us to talk about these things and bring it to the forefront, and now you start seeing it on the on Facebook or Twitter, whatever your platforms are, all of us that are doing YouTubes, all of us that are communicating about this, we forced their hand. If we never took the steps to ask these questions and have shows like this, or just conversations and bring the truth out, they were going to keep getting away with it. So I answered my own question that I was almost going to ask every week I came over here on the show. Why isn't the media talking about it? Well, they are now. And it's because of this group.
It's like, I like to say, we spoke it into the universe. Like
we made it exist.
Enough. But then other than that, I do give credit, like for Trump, this isn't operating no more. The one big point, people, I guess booms are different to everybody, or if this evil crept in over hundreds of years,
takes a while to get it to go away.
And it's kind of getting crept out as well. I mean, Epstein's gone. Well, I don't think he's dead, but maybe, well, we know that he's not on that island, and no more kids are going to be tortured over there, or anybody. And then G. Maxwell's now down. So we know that empire is over with. That institution, the Epstein Island institution, is now destroyed.
The club.
Now everyone wants the club members to go down, which is something that I'm sure we'll get to. But it's taken time to even get we didn't want to just make arrests. Arrests are easy. Destroying institutions are much, much harder. That institution is now destroyed. Now we can get the players.
Absolutely right.
And now people can see each player in the game for what they are.
Absolutely right. And I'll tell you what. My better half, Suzanne, who I met 2.5 years ago, and I hope she's not listening because I'm going to ask her to marry me eventually here.
That a
that's
boy.
awesome.
That a boy, Dallas.
Make her an honest woman.
Then don't repeat this. Then don't repeat what you're saying, Dallas.
So anyway, she is a good person, a good soul. I mean, just really amazing. And I'm not saying that because, you know,
She's listening.
Mine, she loves me, but she really is a good person. And she was so innocent and so sweet, and did not see all of her life what was going on. She just took everything for face value. When she met me, we started talking. I started, you know, showing her this stuff and turning her on to the truth. And it took a little while, and then the light bulb came on, and guys, she has ran with this and promoted you guys and other channels, and she is on fire, man. It's like she's on fire with the Spirit of God now, and she's rolling with it.
Good. That's what
great,
we need.
Man. We appreciate that. That's great. Yeah.
She's basically.
What a shot? Give her a shout out. What's your girlfriend's name?
What's her first name?
Suzanne.
She's
All
probably listening.
Suzanne, if you're listening, thank you. Keep the good fight up. Keep spreading the word. Red pill as many as possible. Don't start, you know, like we always talk about that Thanksgiving time, like, hey, pass the turkey. You know, Hillary Clinton's a pet up. You know, don't do it that way. You know, find your way. What works with you and your personal friends.
Don't bring politics to Thanksgiving or religious ceremonies like Christmas or Easter. Yeah, just leave that stuff at home.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I drive a truck, and I drive a truck 12 hours a day, and I got all the time in the world to think. You guys really inspired me and opened my eyes to a lot and gave me a lot of information. And I've got so much. Well, let me ask you this real quick. Before all of this, before the information age and everything, you know, 20 years ago or so, did y'all ever feel like something was not right? Something just didn't seem right. I mean, with George Bush, you know, the old man, and then Bill Clinton, that's when it kind of really started hitting me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After JFK, now I wasn't alive, but I'm a history guy, so after JFK died, and then after Reagan was out of office, I agree, my childhood growing up with those presidents, the last of the great ones are gone. People that you trusted, you know, when they spoke, Walter Cronkite, and, you know, but I've always felt like something is way off at the governmental level, and it's because it's too damn big, and that's why, maybe that's all I ever really thought in the back of my mind. Government is too big, and I know that's an easy answer, but because it's that big, and now you have buddies like Epstein, and you got all the players in play, you can get away with anything if you're a part of that club. So I agree with you. Something always has been off, I felt, but I couldn't pin it. I didn't know, you know, but the pedophilia, that's just one thing. Think about all the embezzling and all the money laundering and all the other
drug,
nasty, dirty things that these people are doing, trading favors for one another. You know, judicial judges and attorney generals and politicians and Hollywood superstars, they're in the club, man. What was the one comedian that said, you know, and we're not. That's the effing joke.
Yeah.
George Carl.
Yeah, that was.
You're not in their club, man. And if you think they care about you, you're effing wrong, man. That's what George Carl got that message.
They don't love you.
They got you and I duped.
What he said was, it's a big club, and guess what? You ain't in it.
That's right, brother. You
That's
know
right.
what I'm talking about. And they kicked him out of Virginia, or out of D.C., if you remember, and he went across the Potomac and did a show and turned around and put his fingers up and said, F you. I know I'm not in your club.
And guys like Dave Chappelle. I mean, what happened to Dave Chappelle, man? That's
They
not the
ruined
same
him.
dude.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Trump needs to give him his own show, because that man is entertaining as hell. But
you know, if you look, it's not. I mean, there's something. It's not the same guy. I mean, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the way around, he's not the same guy anymore.
Chemically.
If you looked at him lately,
chemically castrated, in my opinion.
they got to him.
Yep.
I mean, they got to him. And, you know, guys, I want to tell you this. My dad was a master mason and a teamster. And I joined the Teamsters here in Dallas, you know, some years ago. I'm not anymore because I didn't like what was going on. But I grew up as a Teamster baby and around Masons, and I heard things and seen things throughout my life that always made me feel like something was wrong. That's why I asked that question earlier about, didn't you ever feel like it was never right? And then to turn around and look and see the dots being connected throughout the years, throughout the recent history, it freaks me the hell out. It scares the hell out of me, man.
It should. That's motivation, brother. That's not fear. That's motivation. And even if it is fear, it's motivation. You need to just talk, share it. As a society, we can fix this ship, man. We're just gonna have to charge the captain's cabin. You know what I mean? We can't just sit around and expect something to happen. We have to. You want to bring that tree down? You got to start chopping, man. And we can't just sit at home and pretend. Or just do talking. We got to do more than that. These guys are out there protesting their side of it, and we're just sitting back, not reacting. I don't think that you should react hastily and quickly, but we as a group, maybe it's time that we start reacting. I don't know how, but we can't let them be the only ones in front of a microphone on live TV at night getting all the publicity. You know what I mean? Patriotism must be in everybody's face.
I agree with you 100% on that, man. And I tell you what, I've been the tinfoil hat wearing, conspiracy theorist, so to speak, what I've been called, just on knowing something wasn't right and just by asking the question. Just asking the question. And I've been belittled, put down, made fun of. I never said anything was fact. And see, that's an attack on us.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned John F. Kennedy. When John F. Kennedy was killed, that's when the word or the phrase conspiracy theorist came out. It came out to shame people, to keep them from asking questions.
Absolutely.
To make them look stupid and shame them.
Yep.
And man, there's a lot of history here, and I've been into it for a long time, and I see a bigger picture. It is so hard to get other people to even accept the fact that, guess what? Maybe, just maybe, 9/11 was not what you're told it was. You say that, man, and you are the devil himself.
I've been there. I was there for 9/11 off my ship, but that's a story for another day. I actually, in the 2 videos I've ever had in 3 years get me blocked and strikes was 9/11 videos. They really don't want people talking about that. We do. I've done it. I feel like I have the right to, because I pulled in the next day on September 12th and sat there in Coney Island for 2.5 weeks and watched that thing smoke. We were there to rescue people, and that didn't happen because there was no people to rescue. Unbelievable. But we're going to try to get to one more call. I actually just looked. We've had you on for 15 minutes. I hope you call back. I got your name and...
Dave from Dallas.
Yeah, Dave from Dallas.
Dave from Dallas, you're the man.
I got your number written down, and if you ever call again, I will. It'll come up as Dave from Dallas, and I'll know it's you, so we can have a good conversation. So call in anytime. Look for after our Patriot Fest for a weekly show. I haven't talked to Scott about it yet. I've talked to Woodman. I think I brought it up to Ben, but we're going to try to have a set day weekly. Just like guys would get together and play cards. The wives understand. They get it. It's our but instead of playing cards, we're doing an hour-and-a-half show. And it's going to be a lot of call-ins. We won't actually, it's going to be a weekly call-in show. We'll probably go a half hour, 40 minutes of talk, and then about a half hour to 40 minutes of call-ins. So look for that. Actually, we might do more call-in than talk. We'll get to it because it's still us talking with people.
We should designate, yeah.
That way it's a set time for the people. That way you guys know Wednesdays at 6 p.m. or something. Whatever works out. Could be a day show, could be an evening show, but we'll get that dialed in. But we appreciate you calling in, and you're going to call in again. And I hope you...
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I just want to say, hey, I love you guys for doing what you're doing, man. Y'all are Patriots, and God bless you.
God bless you, brother.
Stay safe, driver.
Stay safe.
All right.
All right. All right, bye. All right, here we go. Another one. You're on.
They hung up.
I missed it.
Did you?
Yeah. All right, call in. Calls are open. What do you think of that one? Well, this next call might be a...
There you go. There's one.
Dave from Dallas was the man. I know that.
This is a Patriot Hour. You're on. What's going on?
Hi. My name's Karen. I'm from West Virginia.
How you doing?
I've been watching your show for a long time. You guys do an awesome job.
Oh, thank you
very much.
How did you come across the Patriot Hour? Did you get referred, or did you just come across it on your own?
I stumbled onto it
Nice.
years ago. A couple years now I've been watching your show. I quit watching the Channel 9 news, and I now watch the Patriot Hour.
Oh, awesome.
Out what's going on.
That's
because
crazy.
The media it's so phony. We've been lied to.
Yes.
And people don't seem to care because it allows them to... Well, first of all, people are so beat down working every day, they figure they can't do anything about it, so why worry about it? But we have to wake up because of our children.
Amen.
And
Amen.
when I woke up, I found out, I started researching the children of the poor. And from all the generations, they've suffered. And it's bad, the internet. I mean, even right here on YouTube, when I watch the stories about the children, like, I'll give you an example. Anne Frank, the story of Anne Frank. I stumbled on to some research where they claim that Elmer Wheeler was her hider, and I don't mean that in a good way. And whether that be true or false, then they shouldn't be allowed to exploit children for money in any kind of way. To put that in the minds of somebody, to make them think. And Elmer Wheeler says, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle. It's spiritual wickedness at its worst.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easy to spot.
What's your opinion
it's gotten
on...
out of hand.
That's right.
What's your opinion on...
Now, what do we do about it?
Okay, that would be my question. Do you have an opinion on at what level of destruction or war or civil war or protest? I mean, what do you want to see happen here?
Well, I feel that back in the day when Hollywood got so far out of hand, we should have never let that go down. The 60s caused a lot of trouble. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Now, I'm a Nancy Schaefer supporter. Nobody wants to talk about her. She's a real patriot.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote a report on CPS against them because a lot of children right here in the United States have lost their children legally, and it wasn't fair to them.
No.
And she lost her seat in the Senate for it, and she stumbled onto a pedophile ring in our government, and they murdered her and her husband. I really believe that.
I believe that myself.
Yes.
I absolutely believe that.
Well, I belong to a support group, and we went to D.C. to support her. They go right across the road there. There's a little park, and they watch videos about their children, and it's sad because a lot of good people lost their children. And when I went there, if I didn't count 500 gay men walking around in circles lost with the spiritual wickedness of sodomy, then I didn't count a one. And this is what happens when we turn our back on God Almighty and His righteous word. He increases the sins of those who turn their back. And it's really getting bad. It's real bad. And the children have suffered from all the generations.
I like to...
It's just bad. I don't know.
Well,
like UNESCO, that's a group of people who pick our heritage spots. And, you know, like they'll pick a place where people were sacrificed because that's our history. Well, it's not so good when you're picking the education, what schools that these people on these islands, children go to. Why would this group of rich bureaucrats be allowed to tell you what education is best for your child?
It takes a village, remember? Hillary told us that. It takes a village. It takes the state to raise your kid. And hell no, it don't, lady. It takes me and my family and my close-knit friends, not the state.
Absolutely.
Hillary in a village? It's the Haitian kids,
And they're going to take their artificial intelligence back to those islands with UNESCO. And all these groups are sucking money from our government to do this. And we don't need all those groups. We don't even need the CIA. We don't need them. What do we need them for? We had the FBI.
Right.
And, you know, this business with that island, from the popes have been doing this from generations and generations, taking the children of the poor. I mean, when are people going to wake up?
Yeah, this is going back to antiquity. From antiquity, they've been doing this. People think, like Trump brought out, that human trafficking isn't an ancient art. It's actually more prevalent now because of the internet. You know, all that Wayfair stuff. There's lots of truth. People think that to be really funny, and it's not what they're doing, but it is, and that's
really
exactly
not.
how it works.
I watched some videos where little girls were catching big, huge snakes. And the Asian guy wasn't seen holding the camera, but he was showing these little girls that we shouldn't allow that online.
No, you
And
shouldn't.
I'm not saying take our rights. I'm saying let's protect all the children.
Yeah.
Because little girls, let's face it, should be playing with dolls, not catching snakes.
Yeah.
Amen.
And the internet, if you look at the video games that the children are watching, right down to their cartoons, there's a hint of porn in there.
Yeah.
And it's not good. We have to root it out. It has to be rooted out. Sodomy has to be rooted out once it spreads like
everything
cancer.
you just said is propagated up by the 6 channels, the owners that are involved in all this kind of stuff. They all have ties, and it's a well-oiled machine to where they propagate out through the TV and the airwaves for the masses to be confused, to get to naturally not believe in God, but while they hold on true to their God, which is it's all of that crept in. None of it came overnight. Even the things in our food. I had a hard time
teaching our children, and they're brainwashing them, and it's going to be a whole nother generation of worse.
Yes,
We
I agree.
have to try to do something. We have to, first of all, turn to God Almighty. President Trump got elected because he prayed to God, and God heard him.
Yep.
None of the others did that. They couldn't even cheat and win because he turned to God.
That's right.
He
He had the
needs to
hand of God on
remember
him, and
God. Because there absolutely is a God, and it's going to take 1 hour to knock this place down, and it's going to go.
That's right.
But we have to stand up for Judgment Day and think about this. Can't we be trusted with our own children? What about all the children? That's where my heart is, and that's what worries me, because I see the spiritual wickedness. It's everywhere.
God
And
bless
it's a
you.
mess, and we got to do something about this. And we should have never let Hollywood go. We shouldn't. We have to give the children. They changed the law in my state that children can't pick their guardian until they're 18. That's enslavement. A child knows who they want to stay with. I'm sorry, but we have to. The liberals crossed the line.
They're indoctrinating and
crossed it a long time
normalization.
ago.
Oh, God bless you, dear.
They
we can hear it clearly in your voice. This has got you very distraught.
they banned hashtag Save the Children on Facebook yesterday, which when you do the hashtags on these social medias, when you click them, they take you to like everything trending for that. And that was literally, I saw it late last night, so I clicked on the person's hashtag Save the Children. It took me to this has now been blocked. It goes against the community standards of Facebook. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hashtag Save the Children. And they're saying it goes against their standards. Well, we know you can type in Black Lives Matter, BLM, hashtag it works. I mean, everything. So that
All lives matter.
Yes.
And they're doing the opposite of what they say, and then they got control of the media, the one-eyed monster.
If lives
That's
matter, then why do they
reflection
still
of-
abort 30 million children a year? You know what I mean? Don't
work of
fall
Satan.
for.
That's
you
Satan's.
damn right it is.
I did a video. I don't know if you saw it, the one where I broke down, all lives matter versus, Black Lives Matter. All lives matter to God because he made them all, and all lives don't matter to Satan because he made none. So, therefore,
We pay ball players more than our veterans. We should have never settled for that. We should have stood up for our rights.
It's not too late.
What are people thinking?
It is not too late. Don't let what the media shows you. My dad always told me, don't be fooled. I mean, they're showing you, it seems like, and this is why young people are so influenced, is because the media is showing you on the nightly news or in all this stuff. It makes it look like there's millions and millions and millions and millions of evil protesters out there. Believe me, there are tens of millions of very solid people. I got to imagine 200 million.
I believe that, too. I believe there's a lot of good people, and I believe that they lie on and they stage a lot of things.
Correct.
And I believe that we can't serve both. People are selling out. Don't be a sellout. There's always going to be money. Don't even think about like that. Don't sell out. and put God first. We have to put God and his righteous word first, and we have to turn back to God because they lost their way. The bureaucrats have lost their way.
It's our responsibility.
They're being led to believe a lie, and they're sacrificing the children of the poor. And I know I sound like I'm one flew over the cuckoo's nest by now, but I'm not going to be led in that direction because I know that God's really in charge. And I know that he's real and he lives.
The light.
But we are going to be judged. And when Judgment Day comes along, I want God to know that we cared and we were worth it.
And we tried.
And Jesus Christ didn't die in vain for us.
Amen.
Because we know. See, some of us are awake and some people are still asleep. But it matters not. What are we going to do about the children? Because they're gone. I used to see children playing everywhere. I don't see that anymore. They're either being brainwashed on a computer or they took them. And it's government, it's the Democrats. I really see where each state, it trickles down, where they're clipped up with their little groups and they got their hand out for government money. And it's gotten ugly and it's a mess and we have to stand up for our rights. We have to and pray to God.
Can we give this lady some kind of Patriot of the Month award? I really feel like this lady. Right, I wish I could. I'm giving you a virtual hug right now. You're almost like the wise grandmother that we all just listened to, and I got goosebumps. But I also got angry, and I'd like to go out. I would like to go out and remember those words as I'm fighting. You know, and I don't think God's going to shame us for fighting.
Being brainwashed by the one-eyed monster, and you go down there and get in your car and you go love somebody.
There you go. There you go.
And it'll spread because we have to, because sodomy's got to be rooted out, and it's bad. It's really bad. And when I went to Washington D.C. for Nancy Schaefer's support group, there were. That's what happens when you take children from their families and give them to pedophiles to be turned out.
That's why
that spreads.
That's why they kept dividing the home, you know, so it would be easier for them to just continue on doing what they're doing, stealing these kids and saying, well, the father's not there. And now we've
every man for himself. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. They divide and conquer and destroy us. That's what they've always done, and that's what they've intended to do. And they want population. So I know that. And all the people, the wealthy bureaucrats, think they got a piece of the pie and they can get off us. And as soon as they figure out how to stay young, then we're done. And I think they're doing it by the sky now with drones. And once they get control of us there, I mean, if we don't stand up with one another and see that God is righteous and God's the only way, then people are going to be lost. And it's always going to be that way.
Amen.
And it's gotten so much worse because it's not us that suffers, it's our children. It's the children of the poor.
Do not.
That's where my heart is.
Yes, ma'am.
God bless Karen.
Yes, ma'am. Karen, thank you very much for your phone call.
I really appreciate the Patriot Hour.
Thank you.
Because you guys try to keep it real and tell the truth, and you care, and you're patriots.
Yes.
That's what a real man does. A real man stands up. Cowards hurt children.
Amen.
Real men stand up.
Thank you very
we
much.
need more people in the world like you all. And I really appreciate your show.
Thank
And
you.
with that, I'll close. Thank you. And let's just keep praying every night. Just pray.
We will.
Let's all pray at 8 o'clock every evening.
8
we'll
o'clock.
Pray. I'll be praying at 8 o'clock. I do every night at 8.
Let's do
you all
it.
pray at 8.
God
Prayer
bless you,
is
Karen.
powerful when it comes from the heart.
Prayer is powerful.
God bless you, and
Karen.
call in again, please. Karen, call in the next time we have a live call in, and we hope you keep listening.
I will.
All right. God
Thank
bless you.
you.
God bless you.
All right. Bye. God.
I'm going to close with, at least for me, you guys.
Karen was a beast.
Man, she tore my heart out. She makes me feel like we're supposed to go on that street and start fighting. But
What's Karen? What was that thing down in Florida? Not Karen.
oh, with the little
Was it
kids telling Karen
Was
as the
it
mother,
Karen, though?
Karen, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to. Well,
Was it Karen
I don't
or-
think that applies
Pretty
right
sure-
now because
No, I know.
I'm not
Pretty
talking
sure it
back
was
to
Karen.
Karen.
What was it?
It's Karen.
Pretty sure it was Karen.
Yeah,
Was
it's,
it?
it's all over
Wherever you
Facebook. Karen.
Karen's.
Karen.
That's what I
What you're
think.
looking for.
Beast mode.
On that note, I'm going to close. I'm closing. These guys, again,
Yeah,
the
we're
show
done.
might go on, but I'm going to tell you to do this, and you should do this, and that's two things. Number one, go vote. Get out of your house. Don't fall for the paper balloting. They're hoping that we don't show up by the masses like we did the last election. You have to get out and vote. And the other thing I'm going to challenge all you small business owners or those of you that have an opportunity to have some influence over this, get back to work. Open your businesses. Don't let the government, be a Reagan guy. The government can't do for you what you can't already do for yourself, and also do it better. But don't fall for the narrative. I just lost my ears, but that's fine.
I hear you over here. I hear you over here.
Don't fall for the narrative of you have to listen to us. You are protected by the Constitution of the United States. You are protected by the Bill of Rights. You have the right to get together and pray and worship. And as far as I know, and I'd battle with you, you'd send in some messages or let us know. I'm a small business guy. I'm not shutting down. There won't be any point in time I'm shutting down. I got a family to pay for, and I'm not falling for this. So vote and go back to work. And if you're nervous and scared about getting sick because you're elderly or because you're just weak-minded, then stay home. But do not try to affect me anymore. I want the world to get back the way it was. The faster we get back, the faster our children are not sitting at home hungry, not learning a damn thing. So vote and quit being naive and get back to work. Amen. Amen.
All right. Zach, you got any closing thoughts?
Like 1,000, but everyone was great today.
Crunch all those down into a minute.
Yeah,
I'm joking. Real quick, I want to ask the people. We'll do this so you know. We got about 600 in the room. If you guys want Zach to come back on, give us a 1. Let us know. Put a 1 in, and also sound off where you're from. And I'm going to see if I can get this up here. But go ahead and talk now, Zach.
Oh no! I appreciate my vets. I appreciate my first liner, doctors, firemen, police, veterans. I'm grateful for you guys just having me today. I'm grateful for the men and women that chose to put their country first and do the soldier thing, because I never could. And so I'm just glad to be here. So thanks for listening to me. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Airborne. There's Airborne.
Airborne.
That's Woodman, if you're not familiar with Woodman yet. But he's got a one-liner. Airborne.
All right. Sounds nice to me.
The word airborne is his exclamation point. He puts it on everything, and he's a blast to hang out with. There was that down there in Virginia. About every 30 seconds, you airborne, airborne, beer, airborne, food, airborne, freedom, airborne. Love your wood, man.
Come on now. All right. Well, I can't seem to get that up, so I'm gonna put it up here. Let's yell out some of these places people are coming in from.
Spokane. Wood.
We got a bunch of 1s here, by the way. Everyone wants you back on. See all the 1s? 1.
Oh, you're liked. Look at that.
Thank you guys so much.
Hilton Head,
Thank
Lake Onion, Orion, Michigan,
Arizona,
Spain. Checking in from across the pond today. Ohio. Drop where you're from. We'll give you a shout out. We got a Wendy Rosebud. Love you, Sir Michael. Thank you.
That's my little brother. That's Gabe. Gabe Williams. You see that under Luis?
Nobody cares.
That's my little brother.
Gabriel. Thank you, Zach.
No, shout out.
Of course he gave you a 1. That's
Texas.
a little bias. Everybody but Zach's brother.
People that know him don't vote. Let's do another vote.
It's rigged. If you think this is rigged, press 2.
If you think this is rigged, press 2. Now, for people that don't know Zach, and only those that don't know Zach,
and if you fall between 5'10" and 5'10" and 1/4 inch, you're the only one that has a right to vote.
There was a movie where he did that, and people that only don't know.
Yeah. Massachusetts.
I like to call it Taxachusetts.
Big Sky, Montana.
Arizona, Las Vegas, Idaho, Seattle,
Oregon, Phoenix, Kansas, Australia. Hey, mate.
Hey.
Sure I didn't say that with the right twang. Golden State, time, live, life, Trump. Oh, yeah.
Ohio.
Russian.
Las Vegas.
Russian
Russia.
comrade.
What's going on, comrade?
Oh, man. I must break you.
Bong rips from Sabretooth. Jeesh. A little early. It's 4 o'clock somewhere, I imagine. Texas.
Puerto
on
Rico.
coast.
Peter Rook.
L.A.
Belgium. Nice. Tomorrow, Netherlands.
Somebody was in the booking area at the LAPD. I was joking.
Checking in at precinct 131.
Good group. My type of people.
I'll see you in 3 to 5.
Texas, Georgia, Stonehenge, UK. Wow.
Nice.
Coming all the way from the Stonehenge.
Victoria.
Austria, Wilkes-Barre, Pensa. Who's coming to the Patriot Fest, by the way, August 14th and 15th?
Type of 7.
Gabe Williams
I need to
won.
see a 7
See
for
you.
those coming. Just the number 7. Wow, that came up 777. I think that's just her handle, though. I don't see any 7s, folks. Where's the 7s? Who's driving or flying into northern Indiana and get to shake our hands and have a good weekend? England. That's not a 7. That's a big yellow heart. We need some 7s here. I know there was some earlier. Cell block 3. Oh, that's fine. Hey, man, wherever you can catch the show, I don't care. You know.
That's hilarious.
All right, I gotta get out of here. I got things I gotta get done. My afternoon's getting away
2.
from me. 7. There we go. Now we got some 7s. Bob, and Greg.
There it is. See
I
it?
got lunch with my mom coming up soon. Special
Hold on.
lunch.
7, you dingus. Gabriel Williams is coming. Do you dingus?
Is he?
Yeah.
Where at?
Right there, Gabriel
You just
Williams.
said 7, you dingus.
777
Barb.
Barb.
Yeah, look at that.
Somerville
He's the
Grill.
truth,
Tina,
man.
Suzette.
You want him. You don't even want me. He's the
Man,
real-
I
he's
think
the
we need to
real one.
order some. I think we're going to need a bigger boat, Mike.
I think we're going to need a bigger boat.
That comes from the movie Jaws when Mike and I were out on the
I
ocean.
think we're going to need a bigger
He's like,
boat.
hey, man, you remember that movie where the captain... And then I'm like, Mike, why are we referring to Jaws when we're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean?
I think we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. But thanks
Look at
for
all
make me feel uneasy for the next 6 hours.
Look at all these 7s and 1s.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to make sure we got plenty of food. Gonna be some hungry Patriots.
Patriots are hungry, man.
Patriot
You ever
Fest.
seen the movie?
We need everyone to bring some food with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that way come by
Never
your
mind.
campsite and eat a burger while I talk to you.
Yeah, we should have some kind of a cook-off. Who makes the best this or whatever.
Yeah. Bring some.
That way everybody just brings some of the same ingredients and we just eat chili all weekend. How about
Yeah.
Chili mac all weekend.
Oh, yeah. Chili mac.
Nothing says America like some
fried chili,
Some-
baked chili, have some of that deep fried chili.
Shrimp, barbecue shrimp.
I like that chili with the shrimp meat in it. Maybe some mustard on the biscuits.
All right, Patriots.
All right.
All right, man.
Chuck, we appreciate
Thank
the
you guys.
donation.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes.